Welcome to the fantasy audiobook. Pokemon. Sign in at the start of the game, Koga Ninja. Chapter 41. Lucario and Shumu looked at each other, and the eyes of one and the other elf met. They were tit for tat for an instant, and the air was filled with the smell of gunpowder. Sirona didn't know the reason, but when she saw Lucario taking the initiative to greet Shumu, she thought it was a pleasant first meeting. Shumu, I'm going to compete first. Sirona smiled happily. Shumu thought she could participate in the Little God of War Cup through the back door before. Now she wants to use her strength to prove her return to Shumu. This saintly girl also relies on her strength to survive. Come on. Shumu cheered Sirona up with a sunny smile on his face and watched her go to the battle site. This Lucario is very strong, and at worst it should be at the level of a false king. With him here, there shouldn't be any problems in Sirona's game. Let's use the Koga Ninja to quickly resolve the battle in a while. Although Shumu didn't want to abuse the vegetables in Novice Village, he had no choice, but his strength wouldn't allow it. At this age, it would be difficult for Shumu to find an opponent of similar strength. If he hadn't been with Sirona, he wouldn't have bothered to come to this slightly more advanced-looking Novice Village to fry fish. What kind of elf is yours? Can I exchange or buy it with you? Shumu had nothing to do, so he called Arceus out and played with him in the preparation area for a while. Anyway, there is no legend of Arceus in this world, so no one would have thought that this harmless-looking little guy is the legendary god of creation. A girl walked up to Shumu. She was wearing a pink dress and an exquisite necklace. She was dressed very luxuriously and nobly. Shumu shook his head. This guy doesn't sell it. It's a young lady, she's quite pretty. Shumu looked at this graceful young lady, and said to himself quickly, what are you thinking? You have Sirona, how can you look at other young ladies again? Forget it, Sirona is not here, I will just take a look. Raising his head, Shumu looked squarely at the young lady who had suddenly arrived. He originally had a crush on this very good-looking young lady. If she was willing to give it a try and take the initiative, Shumu might not refuse. As a result, her next words directly persuaded Shumu to retreat. Why don't you sell it? I'm very rich. Please give me a price. I think this cute little guy like you is very destined for me. It's his honor to be a good match for me. Why don't you, the master, know what's going on? Woolen cloth. Shumu smiled. There must be something wrong with this girl's brain. Where did the Chunabu come from? If you want to buy, I will sell. Who are you? Dare I ask, do your family members know that you are so ill? Who are you? Are you sick? If you get sick quickly, you may be able to be saved. After Shumu finished speaking, he was ready to leave this arrogant girl who was in the late stage of Chunabu. What do you mean? Are you insulting me? Unexpectedly, this girl was actually quite clear-headed. Although she didn't understand what Shumu said, she also guessed that it was not a good thing. She stood next to Shumu aggressively and pointed at Shumu. He said loudly, I am the youngest daughter of Lord Dongfang. You must respect me, otherwise my father will kill you. This world is so small. We just killed the old one, and now the younger one is coming. Looking at Lord Dongfang's terminally ill little daughter with pity, Shumu couldn't help but feel pity for her. Your dad, please, let him kill me. You may not know that your father was defeated by me and silenced by my father. Little sister, while I am still soft-hearted, please leave quickly. Shumu looked at this young lady with strange eyes, feeling extremely speechless. Chen Yang, this man bullies me. I want his elf, but he won't sell it to me. Seeing Shumu looking at her strangely, the girl panicked. She was worried that Shumu would be fascinated by her prosperous appearance and would try to do evil and become crazy. Called someone. Shumu was speechless when he saw that she had found helpers. You are smarter than your father and know how to find helpers, but why are you looking for helpers from Novice Village? Just pick any one of the people here, and if one of them can hurt me, you win. Who are you, what does your family do, and why do you bully Xiao Yu? The boy named Chen Yang came up with a set of 3 consecutive questions. It's up to you, who are you and what do you do? Shumu was stunned for a moment, then decisively fought back. People in our world are honest and do their duty, and don't cause trouble, but they are not afraid of it either. Now that someone is looking for trouble, we can't bear it. If you ask 3 questions in a row, you should respond with 3 questions in a row. Not only did he fight back, Shumyu also took the initiative. What are you looking at? Are you not convinced? Do you have any objections? Another set of 3. Chen Yang was stunned. Yes, I have an opinion. He was so dazed that he only had time to answer Shumyu's last question. Then Shumyu smiled. If you have any opinions, keep them. Okay, if you have nothing to do, just get out. Chen Yang stood there stupidly, almost turning around and leaving. No, why should I listen to you? After muttering a question to himself, Chen Yang quickly turned around, pointed at Shumyu and said, "What's your name? You dare to play tricks on me? Are you tired of living?" Shumyu really didn't want to deal with this idiot. If you are so stupid and still stand up to others, is it because you are afraid that you will die too slowly? That's right, no one with a good brain can help Venerable Dongfeng's daughter to stand up. Forget it, you are also a contestant, so let's decide the outcome of the competition. Shumyu was too lazy to argue anymore. If he bullied a fool, what sense of accomplishment would he get even if he won? Counting the 2 of you, if we meet in a game, the loser will just kneel on the ground and call daddy. What do you think? Chen Yang was overjoyed when he heard this and hurriedly said, "There's no need to count Xiaoyu, it's enough for the 2 of us to bet." Shumyu didn't care. He looked at the pair of fools indifferently and sighed in his heart. It's a pity that this face is actually stupid. Okay, let's do that. Don't lose early. It would be embarrassing. With these words, Shumyu stopped talking to the 2 of them, took out a large can of moo milk from his pocket, fed Arceus and drank it. I won't lose. I am determined to win the first place in the Little God of War Cup this time. Just wait and call me daddy. Chen Yang also put down his harsh words and left quickly with the daughter of Lord Dongfeng. Looking at his back, Shumyu suddenly shouted, "What's your name?" Chen Yangjung fantasized about defeating Shumyu on the field and watching Shumyu kneeling on the ground calling daddy. As a result, when Shumyu suddenly asked, he subconsciously replied, "Dad." Shumyu was satisfied, the certification was completed, it was indeed stupid. Why, we haven't even competed yet, and you're so eager to admit defeat. Shumyu looked at Chen Yang with a half smile, which made Chen Yang blush and wanted to find a crack in the ground to crawl in. After Chen Yang left, Sirona also finished the game and returned to the preparation area. 1. Shumyu saw her smiling happily and guessed the result of the competition. However, he still pretended to be curious and stepped forward to ask. Sirona raised her head proudly and pinched her waist with her hands. Of course, you don't care who I am. Seeing her innocent look, Shumyu couldn't help but snicker, isn't this girl too cute? Yes, you are Sirona. It is inevitable to win a small preliminary round. In line with Sirona's boast, Shumyu heard his name being called on the radio. It's your turn, go ahead and come on. Seemingly even more anxious than Shumyu, Sirona said quickly after hearing the announcer's announcement. Shumyu nodded calmly, put on the look of a master, and took steady steps towards the competition venue. Let's let the Koga Ninja step in this time and fight quickly. Shumyu said, trying to put Arceus back into the elf ball. Who knew the little guy wouldn't want to? Uyo. I'll come, I can fight, Dad. Arceus, who was eager to express himself, forgot to use telepathy for a moment and jumped up and down excitedly. Seeing this, Shumyu scratched his head helplessly. Okay then, you can go up, but please pay attention to safety, and also, be gentle. I know, Dad, don't worry. Seeing that Shumyu agreed, Arceus happily bit Shumyu's trouser leg. Both sides, the red team's new trainer Shumyu, uses the elf. Shumyu quickly said, Arceus. The referee glanced at Shumyu in confusion and continued, the elf used as Arceus. Zhao Shu, the new trainer of the blue team, uses the elf Boscodora. Both sides can use only one elf, and the game begins. As soon as the referee finished speaking, Arceus sprang out like a bolt of lightning and crashed into Boscodora. Seeing this, Zhao Shu simply let Boscodora use it directly to harden it. Anyway, as a steel and rock type elf, it would not be a big deal for Boscodora to withstand a single impact. Including the referee and the audience, they all thought so at this time. Let this fair-looking and tender elf use impact to attack Boscodora. What's the difference between that and tickling? Shumyu didn't take it seriously, and secretly compared this little God of War Cup player with the previous National League players. Sure enough, this is a relatively advanced novice village, and every elf has evolved into its final form. It seems that these guys should have been in contact with and cultivated their elves since they were young, otherwise they would not be so obedient and have such good feelings. If the cheap dad hadn't sent him the Koga Ninja frog and relied solely on the dog system, Shumyu felt that he might not be a match for these second-generation ancestors now. However, you are the second-generation ancestors, and so am I, Shumyu. Who is not a second-generation person? Who do you look down on? Boom. A loud bang. I saw Arceus knocking Boscodora's armor into pieces when it was being hardened. With a scream, Boscodora flew backwards and then passed out on the ground. The red player wins. The referee was still very dedicated. Although he was shocked, he announced the result immediately. Shumyu also left the scene gracefully under the stunned expressions of everyone in the audience. As I said, even if these second-generation ancestors are not weak, they are just a higher-level novice village. In Shumyu's eyes, they are all vegetables, the only difference is whether they are green or not. Just as cruel. The preliminaries went very quickly, with one round taking an average of 3 hours, and 3 rounds in one afternoon. It was not until 9 o'clock in the evening that the preliminaries were completely over, leaving the 16 strongest trainers to become the top 16 players of this competition and participate in tomorrow's main competition. The official reason for this setting is mainly because the players here are all the children of big shots. Some of them were accompanied by their parents in person, so the preliminaries naturally had to be quick so as not to waste the time of the important people. As for the issue of elves being injured, there is no need to worry. The organizer of the Little God of War Cup has arranged the best medical team in the alliance to ensure the safety of every second-generation ancestor elf. Shumyu sent Arceus to fight in these 3 preliminary rounds. The little guy couldn't control his power at first, and almost accidentally hit Boscodora to death. As the next 2 games progressed, it became clear that he was able to control his body skillfully and maintain control of his strength just enough to defeat the opponent with 1 blow. Ding! Congratulations to the host for completing the Arceus sign-in task 1. Bring or use Arceus to participate in a battle in Chingchong. A random stone tablet will be rewarded. Please host keep up your efforts and collect all the stone slabs for Arceus as soon as possible. Shumyu accepted the system's encouragement with a smile on his face. His level of immunity to the dog system is now gradually increasing. You mock yours and I do mine. If Arceus wants to play a game, then I'll let him do it. As for your crappy mission. Haha, it doesn't matter. I still have 17 more chances. 17 stone slabs represent 17 tasks. Dog system, you are slowly calculating, but I don't believe you can calculate me 17 times at once. Ding! As a reward, Arceus is fused with the Jade Insect Slate, which increases immunity to insect-type skills and doubles the power when using insect-type skills. Shumyu was dumbfounded on the spot. The best way to deal with a troll is to ignore him and then slap him in the face with action. Shumyu muttered and cursed the system for a long time, but the system ignored it and directly rewarded the slate. The reward was not enough, and it also directly helped Arceus fuse. Don't you want to be a trainer? Don't you want to become stronger? No problem, if you don't want yours, I'll do mine. Shumyu felt the deep malice coming from the dog system, gritted his teeth and snorted angrily. Arceus, how are you? Do you feel any discomfort? Arceus is still young. Shumyu should try his best to guide him so that he has the same heart as himself. No, Dad, I feel that my body is full of power now. Is this the benefit of fighting that Koga Ninja said? Arceus answered Shumyu telepathically. Dad, I will also fight in the future. This feeling of power is so comfortable. Shumyu opened his mouth and closed it again. It's over. This kid has gone astray. He is going further and further down the road of abuse and becoming stronger. With a sigh, Shumyu felt tired. Why are my 3 elves like this? You guys have worked so hard, but you have made me so useless. I really don't want to be a trainer, does anyone believe it? Axie, you are a dog system. I, Shumyu, and you are incompatible with each other and we are incompatible with each other. After returning to the villa, Sirona immediately went to the room to take a shower, while Shumyu prepared dinner for the elves. Or it might be more appropriate to call it a midnight snack. Mash the fruits, vegetables and minced meat, add some vitamins, pour it into the mold, and dry it in the microwave. After preparing the elves' supper, Shumu went to the refrigerator and took out a bucket of ice cream. He took some more noodles, and he was going to cook noodles for Sirona tonight. What are you going to eat tonight? I'm hungry. Sirona was wearing a bathrobe and wiping her blonde hair while pouting and asking Shumu. Shumu originally wanted to make a little joke to lighten the atmosphere, but when he turned around and saw Sirona, he was dumbfounded. However, I am uneducated and cannot find a better word to describe it. Good breasts, good legs, so white. Shu Mu's brain almost died. Shu Mu, who had been single for many years, had never seen such a stunning beauty taking a bath. A living young lady. My grass, my grass, my grass. Shu Mu instantly forgot what he was going to say, and all his thoughts were filled with nonsense. What do you want to eat? Wait a minute, I'll give it to you. Forcing himself to calm down, Shu Mu quickly turned around to relieve the embarrassment at this moment. Smelling the fragrance in the air, Shu Mu forced himself to leave and walked towards the kitchen. We can't stay any longer. If we continue like this, something will definitely happen. Shu Mu quickly fled the scene, constantly comforting himself in his heart to calm down. After he calmed down, Shu Mu suddenly reacted. Holy crap, that's not right. Even if something happens, it seems to be fine. Don't I just expect something to happen? Why am I still running? Shu Mu wanted to slap himself in the face. What a fool. I've been screaming Huan all day long, why would I run if I really bumped into you? Waste. Putting the noodles into the boiling water, Shu Mu took a deep breath, left the kitchen, and secretly looked at Sirona, who was eating ice cream as an appetizer. Oh my god, it's so beautiful. Any gorgeous rhetoric is empty talk at this moment and useless. Beauty is over. As the noodles ready, realizing that Shu Mu was looking at her dreamily from a distance, Sirona asked. She is indeed hungry. Although the ice cream is sweet, it doesn't stop her from being hungry. No, right away. Shu Mu quickly retracted his head and kept stroking his beating heart. Why is this heart rate so inconsistent? Not long after, Shu Mu made noodles and filled a large bowl for himself and Sirona. Then I watched Sirona eating noodles infatuatedly. At night, Shu Mu lay in his room and looked out the window at the starry sky. This world is so beautiful. There are flowers, grass, elves, birds, trees and girls. It would be nice if there was no dog system. Thinking happily about the bright future between himself and Sirona, Shu Mu fell asleep slowly. The next day, the two came to the arena, and Shu Mu also met his opponent today. Chen Yang, good guy, you are so naive, you met me so soon. Shu Mu thought in surprise and sympathized with Chen Yang. It's really not easy for this child. Even if he is stupid, he just needs to remember it. It is said that fools are blessed by fools. What do you mean? Do evil people have their own destiny? Who is your opponent? After looking at her opponent, Sirona approached Shu Mu and asked. Shu Mu replied subconsciously, my son. Sirona was stunned. Isn't he your son? Pointing at Arceus, who was playing by himself, Sirona was confused. Your son is not here, why has he become your opponent? Shu Mu pursed his lips and smiled. How could this girl be so stupid when she wasn't fighting? Very cute. Yes, he is our son. Shu Mu was nakedly taking advantage, but Sirona didn't hear it and nodded along. Yes, he is the first little guy to call me mommy. When Shu Mu heard this, he thought to himself. There will be a second and third one in the future. After chatting with Sirona for a while, Shu Mu got up and headed to the preparation area. Today he and Chen Yang were in the first group. As the opening group, Shu Mu decided to make this game more exciting and give everyone a good start. Although the Little God of War Cup is one of the few second-generation games, many people are paying attention to it. In addition to the local people in Qingcheng, there are also the big bosses participating in the competition, as well as some people who are inextricably related to the big bosses. After Shu Mu heard the announcement, he went to the venue and saw a dark audience. Although he was just a nobody, the audience cheered him enthusiastically. To put it bluntly, how do the audience know which player is which? I just came to join in the fun and shout along with the DJ. Chen Yang also arrived and stood opposite Shu Mu. According to the regulations, the two of them had to shake hands first to express friendship. Shu Mu stepped forward with a sunny smile. Good son, please come on soon. Chen Yang glared at Shu Mu fiercely and snorted coldly. You'll know who's the father and who's the son soon. When Shu Mu heard this, he deliberately pretended to be surprised. How do you say this? Who is the father and whose son? Chen Yang didn't know that this was a trap. When he saw Shu Mu's confusion, he immediately raised his head proudly. He pointed his nostrils at Shu Mu and said loudly, of course he is my father and your son. Good guy. The referees on the side were shocked. Are today's young people so open-minded? The game hasn't even started yet, and you recognize your grandfather. Acknowledge your father. What a show. Shu Mu suppressed the smile in his heart and continued, no, I can just be your father. Being your grandfather is too tiring. I have to take care of you and your father, two idiots at the same time. After saying that, Shu Mu turned around and walked away, came to his position, and released the Koga Ninja frog. On the other side, Chen Yang was still mumbling, but he didn't understand what Shu Mu meant. What the hell, why are you my grandfather? My father and your son, my father, your son. I'm so stupid. After thinking about it several times, Chen Yang suddenly woke up and looked at Shu Mu, who had walked away, his teeth itching with hatred. This fool is playing tricks on me again. It's useless to talk loudly, let's speak with strength. After thinking of a passionate line to regain his momentum, Chen Yang shouted. Shu Mu looked at Chen Yang with disdain. Words are useless, you are still too young. After that, he signaled to the referee that he was ready. The referee looked at Shu Mu and Chen Yang with black lines on his head and closed his eyes helplessly. Forget it, I'm just a referee, I can't afford to offend any of these players, I'd better pretend not to hear it. Chen Yang on the blue side and Shu Mu on the red side. Both sides can use two elves. The game begins. The referee waved the two small flags down. This battle to recognize the father is about to begin. Which one is Chen Yang kneeling down to call daddy, or Chen Yang kneeling down and calling daddy? Stay tuned. No matter what family Chen Yang comes from, or what kind of genius he is, as long as he is not a time traveler, it is 100% certain that he will be beaten by Shu Mu. It's not a big problem to kill two Koga ninjas. Let an elf in the middle stage of the Heavenly King come to play in the novice village. Shu Mu is simply not a good person. Both Chen Yang's elves on the blue side have lost their ability to fight, so Shu Mu on the red side wins. After the referee announced the result of the game, Chen Yang's face was full of despair. He still doesn't believe that he will lose so quickly, just like a baby being pinned to the ground by a giant and hammered, with no power to fight back. Impossible, how could you be so strong? Chen Yang murmured to himself, while the referee secretly looked at Shu Mu. The king-level Koga Ninja. Which family's son is this? Why have you never heard of Shu Mu? Could it be that he is a rising star from some hidden family? I was secretly shocked, but on the surface the referee showed no signs of it. Everyone here is a big boss, and he, a small referee, can't afford to offend anyone, so it's better to keep quiet and shut up. My son, should you kneel down and call me father? Shu Mu put his hands on his hips and looked at the decadent Chen Yang in amusement. Poor people must be hateful. This Chen Yang pretends to be so pitiful now. He was not like this when he was aggressive. Shu Mu doesn't have the compassion of the Holy Mother. This kind of person should be taught a lesson. Although talking to him is a waste of life, Shu Mu believes that he has a hard life and lives a long time, so it doesn't hurt to waste it a little. I won't lose. I'm a genius. How could my Kirby and I lose? You must be cheating. This Koga Ninja frog is not your elf. In order to escape the kneeling bet, Chen Yang thought of an impossible solution. He opened his mouth and began to slander Shu Mu, saying that he was engaging in match fixing. Shu Mu didn't expect that this kid would be so cute. It was rare for someone to be so shameless. But, forget it if you are shameless, why don't you have any brains? Spreading his hands, Shu Mu was speechless, turned around and left. There was no need for him to stay. Chen Yang was so angry that he even said that Shu Mu was cheating. He was provoking the dignity of the organizer of the Little God of War Cup. Shu Mu also had some information about Chen Yang. He was a descendant of a gym leader, and he was considered to be at the bottom of the second-generation circle. Fortunately, his Kirby beast was quite strong, so he relied on his ability to stand out among the group of licking dogs of Lord Dongfang's daughter. Became the best licking dog, the king of licking. This Chen Yang has no background, and his patron Dongfang Venerable has been executed. Now he has offended the organizer with his arrogant words. The organizer couldn't do anything to him, falsely accuse his opponent, spread rumors and provoke the organizer. They just banned him from participating in any regular competitions. Tisk tisk, Xu Mu couldn't help but click his tongue when he thought that Chen Yang had blocked all his roads. People are stupid and talk a lot, this person is hopeless. Fortunately, I walked quickly, otherwise if he called me daddy, wouldn't he also be in trouble with me? That won't work, I'm still smart. Is this Chen Yang fighting with Xu Mu? Too tender. Humming a little tune, Xu Mu came to Sirona. 1. Sirona asked with a smile when she saw Xu Mu coming out cheerfully. After snapping his fingers, Xu Mu nodded calmly. It's inevitable. Sirona expressed congratulations, then stood in front of the ice cream stall and continued to struggle. You have difficulty choosing at such a young age. Xu Mu saw that she was struggling for a long time and didn't know which flavor of ice cream she wanted to eat, so he simply came to the stall. Boss, please have one of each flavor. After Xu Mu finished speaking, he gave Sirona a look. Obviously if you have money you can do whatever you want, why do you let your choices limit your happiness? Buy them all, doesn't it smell good? After Xu Mu finished speaking, he took several ice creams of different flavors and held them in his arms. Sirona's eyes instantly lit up like little stars. Fragrant. Nodding fiercely, Sirona picked up a box and was about to start it. Just take 2 bites of each, otherwise you won't be able to eat it with so much flavor. Xu Muhao was inhumane and directly signaled to Sirona to take a bite and throw a box away. This is the joy of being rich. As a rich man and an outstanding second generation, you must learn to enjoy it, young man. Sirona was stunned by Xu Mu's words. Can you still eat ice cream like this? Buy one with the same flavor, taste it, and throw it away if it doesn't taste good, eat more if it tastes good, and then throw it away. This is too wasteful, isn't it bad? Sirona hesitated. Xu Mu's suggestion sounded very refreshing. But the education she received since childhood told Sirona that this seemed wrong. Seeing that Sirona was in trouble, Xu Mu reached out his hand and gently pinched her oval face. Idiot, what's wrong? What if I get a stomachache after eating everything? Think about it, if you have a stomachache, you won't be able to have dinner, and then I can't eat dinner alone. Then there will be more leftover, wouldn't it be more wasteful? Besides, you won't be able to eat so much ice cream, so why don't you just throw it away? It's better to eat every flavor before throwing it away. Under Xu Mu's fallacies, Sirona was finally persuaded, fooled. Opening the strawberry-flavored ice cream, Sirona scooped out a piece with a small spoon and put it in her mouth. Delicious. Xu Mu saw that Sirona liked it, so he smiled and said, then give him a chance, take another bite, and then try the next taste. Sirona nodded, dug out another piece and put it in her mouth, then opened another box of ice cream. Well, this is delicious too. Xu Mu slapped his forehead. I'm afraid you might like it. Forget it, it's up to you, you can eat whatever you want. Who called you Sirona? Who made you look so good looking? I'm used to it. If you get used to it, it will become my family, ha 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 ha. Boom. Sirona's elf ball bounced away automatically, and Lucario suddenly appeared. He separated Xu Mu and Sirona with his body, and then looked at Xu Mu seriously. Lu, I feel a wave of evil intentions, are you plotting against Sirona again? Xu Mu was startled by Lucario and quickly retracted his random thoughts. Why are you out here? Do you want to eat ice cream too? Taking out a box of ice cream, Xu Mu instantly put on a sunny smile and handed the ice cream to Lucario. Lucario didn't accept it. This was something bought by his love rival. He was not an elf who would give up just for a bite of ice cream. Luca, it's useless no matter how bright your smile is, I won't allow you to bully Sirona. With a wave of his hand, Lucario made his position clear. When Xu Mu saw Lucario rejecting him, he didn't panic at all, and saw him slowly opening the ice cream. Then use a small spoon to scoop out a piece, put it over Lucario's head, and put the small spoon near Sirona's mouth. Try this pineapple flavor, you might like it. Sirona didn't pay attention to this seemingly intimate feeding action. She grabbed the small spoon and rolled the pineapple-flavored ice cream into her mouth with her little tongue. Delicious, Shumyu thought to himself. For sure, ice cream is delicious in your eyes. Taking back the small spoon, Shumyu dug out a piece and put it into his mouth in front of Lucario. It's really delicious. After eating, Shumyu even sighed deliberately. In an instant, Lucario's eyes turned red with anger. Luca, you fool, you made such an intimate move with Sirona on my head in front of me, and you even used a spoon. I can't stand it anymore. Shumyu, you've gone too far to bully a dog. With a roar, Lucario quit. He grabbed Sirona's forearm with his hand and pointed to his mouth with the other hand. I want to eat too. Sirona was a little surprised to see Lucario asking for ice cream. You didn't like it before, why do you want to eat it today? Although she was confused, Sirona dug out a piece and fed it to Lucario. Lucario was very satisfied and looked at Shumyu with provocative eyes. Look, Sirona still loves me, you guy, please be smart and get out of here, don't pester my Sirona. The ice cream in Sirona's hand was about to touch Lucario's mouth, and Lucario had already closed his eyes in anticipation. Shumyu smiled. Wait a minute, Sirona, this is special ice cream for elves. Let me feed Lucario this. He is a steel elf. If he eats normal ice cream, he will probably get a bad stomach. Shuemyu's words were very reasonable, and Sirona was immediately convinced by it. Okay then, thank you. After saying that, Sirona continued to eat ice cream, completing the arduous task of eating 2 bites and throwing away 1 box. Lucario opened his eyes in shock, and then looked at Shumyu in shock. Luca, Shumyu, you are going too far. Shumyu sneered, you see, an elf is too young to still want to compete with me for favor. Come on, try this ice cream, it's specially made by elves. Come on, Lucario, I'll feed you. Shumyu said, pretending to be enthusiastic and moved forward, pretending to really feed him. Luca, asshole. Lucario let out a soft cry and fled back into the Pokeball. Shumyu is the devil, the smiling devil, who specifically fights against elves. After Shumyu won the 16-8 match, he quickly won the 8-4 in semifinals. In the past few days, he has also used various methods to target Lucario with a smile on his face. In the final of the Little God of War Cup, Shumyu and Sirona finally met. Relying on her Lucario, Sirona was also invincible and won all the way to the end. To be honest, Shumyu didn't expect this at first, that Lucario was so strong. Shumyu, in the upcoming competition, you have to go all out and don't give in to me. Before going on the field, Sirona issued a serious declaration of battle to Shumyu. I want to fight you openly and honestly. Shumyu smiled helplessly. Okay, it all depends on you. I will fight you seriously. Sirona was then satisfied and trotted all the way to the contestant tunnel. Come on. Shumyu looked at Sirona's back as she trotted away, with a slight smile on her lips. Koga Ninja, that Lucario guy, I've been wanting to educate him for a long time. The opportunity has come. Shumyu, who was determined to retaliate, took hold of Koga Ninja's Pokeball and finally revealed his true colors. An elf also wants to be my love rival, you are not worthy. The little tricks I used before were just appetizers. This time I want to teach you a lesson. Don't always think that God is the boss and you are the second child. Said secretly in his heart, Shumyu also walked to the battle site. The next ones to have a decisive battle are our 2 super newcomers in the past few days. First of all, there is player Sirona from the red side. Everyone must be familiar with her. This blonde-haired girl fights like a cold-blooded killer. She defeated all her opponents from beginning to end with just 1 Lucario. We have endless expectations for her in this final. We'll have to wait and see whether Sirona can continue her invincible legend. The commentator's voice was loud and he introduced Sirona very enthusiastically. Seeing his excited look, Shumyu was a little worried that this guy would fall off the commentary table. Then there's our blue side player Shumyu. Shumyu, a player from Fengcheng, came to our Little God of War Cup after winning the National Middle School League Championship. Here he used a new type of elf called Arceus, and his initial elf, the Koga Ninja Frog. Similarly, After going all the way to the finals, can player Shumyu maintain his honor as the champion and defeat player Sirona to win the first place in the Little God of War Cup? We'll see. Enough of the gaudy commentators. The referee glanced at the gossip commentator speechlessly and said, the red player Sirona and the blue player Zumu, the number of elves that can be used is 2. Game start. Aha! With a wave of 2 small flags, the game officially begins. Lucario pressed his hand and made a crackling sound. He looked at Shumyu and Koga Ninja with a half-smile. Luca, Shumyu, today I want you to know the gap between you and Sirona. This is a woman you can never reach in your life. With a roar, Lucario dropped his harsh words. Shumyu doesn't understand, but Koga Ninja understands. Seeing Lucario being so arrogant, Koga Ninja couldn't stand it anymore. Cool, the Lord humiliates the minister and dies. Today I want to teach you, this arrogant boy, a lesson and let you know how to be a low-key person. Koga Ninja is also a ruthless person. After following Shumyu for so long, he has learned nothing else but trolling others. This was clearly arranged. Cool quack, cool quack. Come on, let me see your strength, what makes you so ugly and yet so confident? Go all out, young man, let me see if you are qualified to lick my toes. Having been suppressed by Shumyu these past few days, Lucario had long been holding back his anger. He was already emotionally unstable, but this time he was really pissed off by Koga Ninja. Little Shumyu, his elf is so shameless. Shumyu, I'll attack first. Miss Sirona is still very fierce once she enters a fighting state. After seeing Koga Ninja and Lucario yelling at each other, Lucario became furious, and she knew that her elf must have suffered a loss during the harsh words. He is worthy of being a Koga Ninja. Being able to face off against a master-level strong man is not only about his strength, but also about his mentality. Of course, although she was praising her opponent in her heart, Sirona showed no mercy. Lucario, wave missile. If you don't mind, use the wave missile first, whether it's a mule or a horse, come out for a walk. Lucario shouted, and a wave missile quickly formed in his hand, and then hit the Koga Ninja frog. Shumyu looked at the aggressive Lucario and said calmly, Spiral Water Shuriken, knock that ball down for me. Cool, little thought. Koga Ninja casually threw out a huge water shuriken. This water shuriken carried the rotating energy of the Rasengan, and it was terrifyingly powerful. Boom, sure enough, after the collision of the special moves, the water shuriken directly knocked the wave missile away. Then he headed towards Lucario with undiminished power. But the wave missile also played a role. The collision just now caused the water shuriken to deviate from its original trajectory. The blow was quickly dodged by Lucario. As expected of Koga Ninja, he is really strong. Sirona sighed in admiration and continued, Lucario, we have to work hard too, use bodybuilding. Seeing that Shumyu did not attack strongly, Sirona took the opportunity to start strengthening Lucario to strengthen herself. Lucario received the order and acted immediately. He was seen waving his arms continuously, perfectly displaying the muscles on his body, and at the same time mobilizing more power to enhance his attack. Reinforcement, self-motivation. Shumyu is still very calm. Even if he is fighting against Sirona, Shumyu has absolute confidence. In terms of command, Shumyu has never been afraid of anyone. Cool. Seeing Lucario strengthening himself, Koga Ninja was not to be outdone and used self-motivation. Comet Punch. Lucario's bodybuilding was completed first, and Sirona directly ordered the attack. While Koga Ninja's self-motivation isn't over yet. However, the moment Lucario hit Koga Ninja with his fist. Puff! Koga Ninja turned into a ball of air. I didn't know. Sirona looked at every corner of the field in shock, searching for the figure of Koga Ninja. This is fake, be careful, Lucario. Lucario also didn't expect that Koga Ninja would use the shadow clone unknowingly, and as his opponent, he didn't notice at all. Cool, young man, why don't you go home and farm? Elves fighting is too dangerous. Koga Ninja suddenly appeared on top of Lucario's head, spouting trash talk and using his freezing fist. Boom! The punch fell from the sky and hit the target with one blow. Lucario was punched in the face and flew backwards. Cool, let me just say, it's too dangerous and not suitable for babies like you. Not only did Koga Ninja hit people, he kept talking trash, attacking Lucario's psychological defense again and again. Luca, unable to bear it anymore, Lucario roared, got up from the ground, turned to look at Sirona, and raised his arms. Sirona murmured, "Are you going to use this power so soon? Okay, let me see how effective your training with Father is, and whether you can truly master that kind of power." With that said, Sirona also raised her arms. On her wrist, a delicate bracelet is releasing a magical halo. If you look closely, you will find that it is not the bracelet that emits halo, but the keystone on the bracelet. Lucario, Mega Evolve. Luca, Sirona and Lucario spoke at the same time, the moment the light of the keystone touched the light of Lucario's evolution stone. Lucario's figure began to change. Red gradually appeared on the surface of his skin, and Lucario's eyes became sharp. Luca, come on, frog, let's fight again. The evolved Lucario is indeed handsome, and Shumu has to admit that the current Mega Lucario is indeed good in appearance. As for strength, I'm afraid that's all it is. Koga Ninja, let's transform too. In order to beat Lucario to his heart, Shumu decided to kill him. Transformation and evolution, we have them too. Koga Ninja nodded, and his body also burst out with shining light. Then, Bond transformation. It felt like the energy in his body was bursting, and his desire to fight was unprecedentedly high. Lucario just thought he could pin this frog to the ground and hammer it. As a result, he can actually transform. What's going on? This is it. Ahem, Koga Ninja, you can do the rest by yourself, you know what I want. Shumu said secretly, indicating that the Koga Ninja can start working. After delaying for so long, this Lucario should have shown his full strength by now. It's time to crush his arrogance into bubbles. Cool, do not worry, little master, I know how to deal with this rebellious little guy. I promise that this guy will be obedient when he sees his little master in the future. After saying that, Koga Ninja directly used the shadow clone technique, summoning dozens of clones instantly. These clones are not shadows, they are all entities that can fight. Although Sirona knew this, before she could remind her, she heard the sound of a physical fight. But the smoke was so thick that she couldn't see what was going on inside. 4 Koga Ninja frogs grabbed Lucario's limbs respectively. The remaining Koga Ninja frogs regarded Lucario as a target and threw shurikens at him frantically. This water shuriken does not have a spiral, so it is not very powerful, but it is just enough to make Lucario feel pain. As for the Koga Ninja's true form, it appears behind Lucario. Cool, Mega Evolved. Is it very strong? Is that useful? Forget it, don't embarrass yourself with your strength. Go home and find a female elf to marry and farm. Look, I'm standing right behind you and you can't hit me. Is it uncomfortable? Koga Ninja said, kicking Lucario on the butt. Look, there's something even more uncomfortable for you. Let me tell you, kid, when you see my little master in the future, you must respect me, understand? Otherwise, I will beat you once I see you. Koga Ninja was like a school bully at this time, blocking Lucario in an alley and threatening him. Luca, impossible, even if you beat me to death, I will never let him cheat Sirona away. Lucario tried his best to break free, but he was outnumbered. In addition, the Koga Ninja had already released a large amount of smoke in the periphery. At this time, no one knew that there was such a cruel scene in the smoke. Cool, looks like you won't give in unless I give you some harsh treatment. Koga Ninja watched Lucario being tortured by his clones condescendingly, but he still spoke harshly. Immediately there was a burst of displeasure. Lucario gritted his teeth and endured the pain in his body without saying a word. Cool, tell me, if I blow away the smoke from the field and let Sirona see you in such a mess, will she feel distressed? Killing people is heartbreaking, shrimps and pigs' hearts are like that. The Koga Ninja has been completely transformed. As soon as these words came out, Lucario was stunned on the spot. Luca, you dare. Koga Ninja nodded, I dare you. A spiral water shuriken was condensed in his hand, and he allowed the water shuriken to rotate in his hand, slowly blowing away the smoke on the field. Seeing that the smoke was getting thinner and thinner, Sirona was about to see her embarrassed side. Lucario finally panicked. Luca, don't blow away the smoke. Cool, look, young people today will never shed tears until they see the coffin. Remember today's lesson in the future. When you are not strong enough, just be an elf with your tail between your legs. Don't be too arrogant. Talk to my little master and be respectful. Koga Ninja was beating Lucario like a big brother in society. Lucario feels miserable. I don't dare to say it yet. It's so difficult to have a child, the outside world is too dangerous, I want to go home. Burying his grievance deep in his heart, Lucario closed his eyes and chose to pretend to be unconscious. When the smoke dissipated, Lucario had exited the mega state and was lying on the ground with his eyes closed. Sirona lost inexplicably. She felt that this was the battle in which she had the lowest sense of participation. Even though he is a trainer, he cannot provide any help to the elves. What a dereliction of duty. Smiling to herself, Sirona was ready to admit defeat. She currently only has one Lucario that can participate in the battle, and the round shark is still too young to be used in the battle. I surrender. Shumu calmly walked through the battlefield and walked towards Sirona with his hands raised. What? Player Shumu actually chose to admit defeat when he won a city first. Why? Is the elf of player Shumu also seriously injured? No, that's not right. Look, player Shumu is walking across our battlefield, and he walks in front of player Sirona. The narrator is like a monkey, chirping and making a fuss. Oh my god, what did I see? Player Shumu actually took the elf ball from player Sirona's hand and put Lucario back into the elf ball. And then they held hands. Under the support of the commentator, the audience was excited. So we thought this was a wonderful battle, but you tell me, this is a wonderful wave of dog food. What's going on? Isn't Miss Sirona a saint from Western Europe? Who is this kid? Check his identity quickly. What is the background of this Shumu? You can defeat the saint and dare to hold the saint's hand. Is this kid tired of living? There are not a few people present who know Sirona's identity. These people looked at Shumu in shock at this moment, and were extremely curious about Shuemu's identity. However, Uncle Tatu, who is Sirona's official driver, is present at this moment. What happened to holding hands? What's the big deal? Seeing how hopeless you all are, why can't we Western European saints love freely? If you have to know the background of this young man, why can't commoners be with our saint? Well, I really can't. Uncle Tatu didn't know much. He just knew one thing, and that was that Sirona's father personally called after something happened in the secret realm of Tequiwa. No one needs to interfere with Shuemu's affairs, let Sirona handle it by herself. If necessary, we can bring them together. Being held by Shumu in public, Sirona blushed no matter how dull she was. I give up. The winner of the Little God of War Cup this time is you. Shumu smiled gently, his eyes full of endearment. Shumu took the initiative to admit defeat and gave the championship to Sirona. The little girl was a little unhappy. Pouting her little mouth, she said dully, "But you can obviously win." Seeing her struggling with this issue, Shumu immediately laughed. "I will never win against you because I can't bear it." After saying that, regardless of what Sirona thought, he directly took her little hand and left. After the finals, Sirona did not come to the awards ceremony, and Shumu accepted the award on Sirona's behalf. This little girl still couldn't save her face and felt that this champion was not worthy of the name. Back at the villa, Shumu looked at the championship trophy of the Little God of War Cup and muttered, "This advanced novice village is different from the novice village. My trophy is not as heavy. Tisk tisk tisk, rich people are different." Seeing that Shumu was bored, Sirona took the initiative to come up. "Can I ask you a question?" Shumu nodded. "Of course, you say it." Sirona reorganized her words and then asked, "You said you were reluctant to win against me, why?" Shumu almost choked on his saliva. "How long has it been since this happened? Why did you remember to ask?" "Because you are cute," Shumu replied to Sirona without thinking and hurriedly slipped back to the room. Only after returning to the room did Shumu react. "No, why should I run? I had such a good opportunity just now, I should take action. Isn't this the prelude to confession? Why should I run? Ah, am I a fool?" Regretful, Shumu regretted it when he returned to the house. Perhaps hearing Shuemu's annoyed call, Sirona actually knocked on the door. Boom, boom, boom. "What's wrong?" Hearing Sirona's knock on the door, Shumu jumped out of bed. "When I opened the door, I saw Sirona standing shyly at the door. Shu Mu's heart melted. Is this girl Sirona thinking too much and trying to push me back? She doesn't seem to be 18 years old yet. Should I just give in, or should I just accept her? Shu Mu. Sirona lowered her head, and it was obvious that she was a little embarrassed. Say, what's wrong? Shu Mu pretended to be calm. Unexpectedly, Sirona's next words made Shu Mu panic. My father will be arriving soon. He said he wants to see you. If it's suitable, just give it to me. Sirona spoke intermittently, and Shu Mu didn't hear the rest. But just the previous words were enough to make Shu Mu feel scared. Shu Mu panicked. Could he not panic? He hooked up with his daughter, who was not yet 18, to live together and travel together. Although I didn't do anything, it doesn't sound good when I say it. Now my father has come to visit me in person. Can Shu Mu not panic? Besides, who is Sirona's father? He is the chief of Western Europe. The top big shot in charge of half of humanity. Can Shu Mu not panic? Are you serious? Shu Mu swallowed and asked in disbelief. When Sirona saw Shu Mu and asked, her already blushing face turned even redder. Well, hurry up and get ready. Father will be here in a few minutes. After saying that, Sirona trotted away and disappeared from Shu Mu's sight. Shu Mu didn't know why Sirona ran so fast, but it was very difficult for him now. He had to see his parents if he disagreed. Who could bear this? That's all. As long as you are thick-skinned, you will have meat for 3 meals. Shu Mu shook his head and stopped thinking about it. If the soldiers came to cover up the water and earth, what else could be done? Not long after, a middle-aged man entered the villa under the leadership of Sirona. This man has blonde hair, just like Sirona. The aquiline nose on his face does not show an unruly look, but a unique majesty. Hello, Shu Mu, I am Sirona's father. Hello, Chief Kyle. Shu Mu had just changed into more formal clothes and tidied up his hair. He would look more handsome now. Shake hands and say hello politely. Have Sirona told you the purpose of my visit this time? Shu Mu was stunned. Why did you come? Didn't he come here to ask for punishment? I abducted your daughter, shouldn't you have come to fight with me? Nodding bravely, Shu Mu didn't know what Kyle was going to say next, so he could only hold on. Okay, let's go to the yard. If you can beat me in the battle, then I will agree to your engagement with Sirona. Kyle said, turned around and walked out of the villa. Sirona was left with a blushing face, and Shu Mu was confused on the spot. So, your father is here to test me. He wants to get us engaged. Shu Mu was dumbfounded. No wonder Sirona was so shy just now. For this cute girl, it was already very difficult for her to have the courage to stand in front of Shu Mu just now. Sirona nodded, and then trotted away as usual. Shu Mu looked confused. What's going on? I was just arranged like this. Could it be that my identity as the super second generation plus destiny child has been discovered? Shu Mu looked around blankly. That's all, let's fight if we say fight. Isn't he just a chief? I will risk my life to defeat him. In order to live a happy life in the future, Shu Mu decided to be cruel to himself and have a good fight with Sirona's father. Arriving in the yard, Kyle had been waiting for a long time. Seeing Shu Mu, he smiled slightly. Come on, you have 3 elves, right? How about we go 2 against 2? Shu Mu said he had no objection. Arceus is still young, and although he is very strong, he may not be able to adapt to this level of combat. Go, Metagross. Nothing fancy. Kyle directly released his own team of elves, Metagross. This is an elf in the late master stage, only 1 step away from the peak. Metagross roared after appearing, exuding powerful and terrifying coercion. This is a fighting aura that only master-level elves can understand. Only by understanding this attribute can elves officially step into the threshold of master. Knowing that Shu Mu didn't understand this, Kyle explained it carefully. Shu Mu nodded, and after expressing his thanks with his eyes became solemn. Sirona's father is not polite at all. He goes directly to the main force. Isn't this bullying? I'm a new trainer, so use your full strength. Koga Ninja, it's up to you. Cool, congratulations to Ninja. I am willing to go through fire and water for the Shu family for generations to come, without any hesitation. Knowing that he was about to face a big battle, Koga Ninja immediately yelled the slogan after appearing on the stage. When Kyle heard what Koga Ninja said, a smile appeared on his lips. Is this the little guy who came back from the border? He's really energetic. After complimenting him, Kyle's eyes became calm. He was going to be serious. Koga Ninja, Bond Transformation. Metagross, Mega Evolution. Almost at the same time, both elves began to change. Metagross, who was originally in the late stage of being a leader, has directly reached the peak level of being a leader after his transformation. 4 huge metal arms made Koga Ninja feel endless pressure. So scary. Don't be afraid, Koga Ninja, Spiral Water Shuriken. Using a unique move, Shumu directly asked Koga Ninja to release the Spiral Water Shuriken to create time for the next Shadow Clone technique to form a seal. Block it with telekinesis, then Comet Fist. The Water Shuriken with strong rotational force was suddenly wrapped by an invisible barrier and could no longer move forward. Then, the 4 giant metal monsters were seen waving their hands together, attacking Shumu from a long distance away. Boom! Caught off guard, Koga Ninja was directly knocked away. Koga Ninja. Shumu ran over worriedly and saw that Koga Ninja had not completely fainted yet and was trying hard to stand up. Don't force it, we are still young, this is just a battle. Shumu stepped forward and grabbed him, helped him stand up from the ground, and comforted him softly. Believe me, I will make you stronger in the future. Treat this failure as an experience. Shuemu's voice was extremely calm, and Koga Ninja quickly recovered. He glanced at Metagross unwillingly and let out a long sigh. Cool, I will definitely become stronger and I will defeat him next time. Setting Metagross and the leader stage as his goals, Koga Ninja clenched his fists to cheer himself up. Seeing that this guy was in a good mood, Shumu asked him to sit aside and summoned a fire-breathing dragon. Charizard, Mega Evolution. Charizard X. After the fire-breathing dragon in the early stage of the Heavenly King evolved to Mega, due to the blessing of the Candle Dragon bloodline, its strength was directly improved to the late stage of the Heavenly King. However, this is still not enough in the eyes of Metagross and Kyle. Too weak. Qinglian Earth Core Fire, Jet Flame. Shumu roared loudly and attacked with the fire-breathing dragon with powerful momentum. Roar. Charizard X roared and a stream of green flames spurted out. Aggressive. However, Kyle didn't even give the order. Metagross also used telekinesis to block the jet of flames. Comet Punch. Boom. Strike hard. Charizard has no chance to dodge or even use protection. He was instantly killed by Metagross with one move and flew away. Shumu, you lost. It seems that I can't let Sorona get engaged to you now. Shumu was stunned. When he came to this world, he seemed to have never lost. This time, he was suddenly faced with a top-level leader like Kyle, and he was a little confused when he was beaten 2-1. Shumu can persuade Koga Ninja not to worry, we are still young, but he cannot lie to himself. If you lose, you lose, if you are unhappy, you are unhappy. How could Shumu be convinced after losing to someone who was more than 20 years older than him? But there is no way, this man is Sorona's father. No matter how unhappy he was, Shumu could only swallow his anger. Well, I lost. He didn't say anything about giving me a few more years, nor did he say anything about not bullying young people into poverty. If you lose, you lose. Although I am very dissatisfied. Well, he has your father's temperament. Kyle smiled when he saw that the unwillingness in Shuemu's eyes only flashed, and then he admitted defeat frankly. Now I'm not sure how to scold me. I'm bullying the weak, and I'm going to use all my strength against you, a newcomer. Ha 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 ha, no need to deny it, I know your thoughts, you and your father have the same virtues. Shumu was a little surprised, do you know my father? Depend on. Let me tell you, they are all old monsters. You are so shameless in bullying me, a newcomer. Ha, he turns out to be my father's friend. So we can be considered acquaintances, right, Uncle Kyle? If you can't beat him, give in. This is the smartest thing to do. What is even smarter than this is to recognize relatives. If you can't beat it, join. Good boy, smooth talk. Kyle looked at Shumu speechlessly. This boy and his father were carved out of the same mold. Very evil. Looking at his girl Sorona again, Kyle suddenly felt a little worried, what if? Forget it, let nature take its course. Your father and I have already engaged you in Sirona, so I won't stop you from being together these days. When Kyle opened his mouth, it was like a big melon. Shu Emu's eyes widened. He first looked at Kyle and saw that he was not joking. Then he looked at Sirona. The little girl lowered her head and said nothing. Are you my father's comrade? Thinking of what Cheap Daddy said before, he was engaged to himself, Shumu finally realized it. It feels like Sirona is his fiancé. Right, Kyle did not deny it, glanced at Shumu, and continued. But, I feel like you are very unreliable, so I need to set a test. This marriage is scheduled until you are 20 years old. I'm sorry if you haven't been able to defeat me before then. I will not agree to Sirona being with you. Don't even think about kidnapping Sirona behind my back. If you dare to do that, I'll beat your father first and then you. Kyle glared fiercely and instantly saw Shu Emu's evil intentions. Then I thought about it and calmed down a bit. If you can defeat me before you are 20, then I will not stop you from being together. Shu Mu nodded. That's not bad, he is only 16 this year, how can he still not be able to defeat a bad old man in 4 years? At least we have a system. Wait, become stronger. The conspiracy of the dog system succeeded again. After secretly cursing the dog system, Shu Mu said to Kyle, so, are you here to take Sirona away? When he asked, Sirona also looked up at Kyle. Although she didn't get along with Shu Mu for a long time, she still had a good impression of Shu Mu. When she first learned that she was Shu Emu's fiancé, Sirona also asked herself. Is it acceptable to be with Shu Mu? It seems, okay. Therefore, Sirona still doesn't want to be separated from Shu Mu. Seeing his daughter looking at him expectantly, Kyle suddenly became furious. His married daughter was throwing water away. No, with a straight face, Kyle reluctantly said these 2 words. Then, Shu Mu smiled, and Sirona also laughed. But don't be too happy too early. I also know about your suspension from school. I will definitely not agree to letting you 2 wander aimlessly. So, I have arranged 2 things for you. Kyle said, waving his fingers proudly. The first thing is that the secret realm of Meteor Falls, which is opened every 10 years, is about to be opened. I want you and Sirona to enter it and experience it. The second thing is that you have to collect 16 municipal gym badges and 6 elves within 2 months to participate in the King of Heaven challenge. You have to get the top 3 rankings in the challenge, so that you can become a king trainer. Then you can participate in the World King competition and get a title in it. Good guy. After Kyle said his conditions, Shu Mu laughed angrily. Tell me, are you a trap brought in by the dog system? Meteor Falls, World King competition, these are all tasks arranged by the dog system. How much money does he give you to work for him like this? I'll pay double, and you stay away from the dog system, okay? This is the title, right? Shu Mu scolded him in his heart, but he still had to ask questions in action. Just like the previous sages, they all have their own titles, but there are also some king-level powerful people who are local hall owners or mayors and do not have titles. The title refers to the top 16 in the World King competition. Every year, 16 king-level experts are awarded the title and are officially called venerables. As for the local king-level experts, they are not qualified to obtain titles due to lack of strength or other reasons, so they can only succumb to the local. It is not that the place is not good, it is just different in nature. After Kyle explained, he found that Shu Mu looked relaxed. That's right, Shu Mu is very relaxed now. So what your uncle wants me to do is to become an officially recognized venerable person within a year. Kyle nodded, that's what he meant. Shu Mu smiled, this is too easy. That venerable Dongfang was the guy who was picked 6 times by Shu Mu. If Kai can be called a venerable, then doesn't Shu Mu already have venerable level strength now? Okay, I understand, uncle, do you have anything else to do? Kyle saw Shu Mu asking himself with a smile on his face and an attitude of seeing off guests, and he became angry at that time. This is my house, right? You are on my property and you want to send me away. Does it fit? It's okay, please pay attention to me and don't touch Sirona. I'll let Lucario keep an eye on you. If you let me find out, I won't punish you. In the end, as a father, Kyle was still worried about Shu Mu, a fool, and threatened Shu Mu with harsh words before turning around and leaving. Hearing Kyle's words, Shu Mu smiled again. Lucario, Don't you know, this guy is mine now. Just kidding, if he dares to tip you off, I will eat dog meat hot pot. Chapter 51. After Sirona's father left, Shumyu couldn't help but feel evil fire surging when he looked at the shy Sirona. This is my fiancé. It seems like if I give her a kiss, it shouldn't be a big problem, right? Kyle's threat was of no use to Shumyu, the LSP. However, in order to save face for the old guy Kyle, Shumyu hesitated again and again, but still suppressed the excitement in his heart. He returned to the room seriously and began to search for information about Meteor Falls. As a high-quality supporter of the dog system, Kyle hoped that Shumyu would go to Meteor Falls first to see if there were any suitable elves there. Then go to the gym and participate in the King Challenge. The last step is to enter the World King competition, obtain a title, and become an official venerable. As for what will happen next, Shumyu estimates that the system may arrange for someone else to come over. The Koga Ninja's mission is to fight Lugia so that he can get the blood of Kunpeng. So, there is Lugia in this meteor waterfall. Just mess around. It's understandable if there's Emperor Entei in Viridian Forest, but what's going on with a Lugia coming out of Meteor Falls? While muttering, Shumyu also found the official information about Meteor Falls. Meteor Falls is a secret place that opens every 10 years. This is an agreement reached between the strong human beings and the Kuailong clan in the secret realm. The human clan enters once every 10 years, but each time the Kuailong clan must choose a suitable trainer for at least 3 cubs and leave with the human clan. The Kuailong clan has a long lifespan, and their strength increases relatively slowly. Therefore, it is not a bad thing in the eyes of the Kuailong clan that their cubs follow humans to go out for experience. The two sides can be regarded as mutually beneficial. If the Kuailong clan was not too slow in conceiving offspring, the secret realm might be opened every 3 years. In addition to the Kuailong clan, there are many elves in Meteor Falls. Sun Rock and Moon Rock are little elves that are said to come from outer space. Slowpoke, the Slow Hippo clan, the Salamander clan, Menas, Absol, etc. After checking the information for a while, Shumyu probably knew something about Meteor Falls. Although all trainers who enter will go there with the desire for mini dragons, only a handful of people can truly be recognized by the Kuailong clan and conquer the mini dragons. The greater temptation of Meteor Falls is the other rare elves. If nothing else, Menas is definitely a famous brand in this world. Because the evolutionary theory of ugly fish has not yet been discovered, there are very few trainers of Menas. Almost all the Menas currently known evolve on their own in the wild, rather than being cultivated by trainers. Therefore, even if you can't get the mini dragon, Meteor Falls is still a treasure place that countless trainers are flocking to. Good guy, this is an opportunity that no one can get even if they want it. How can I get it for nothing? Shumyu curled his lips and said that his second-generation status is really good. If he wanted to become a trainer, the conditions would be comparable to those of an ancient prince. The nanny came to prepare the meal, and Sirona walked to the door of Shumyu's room. Shumyu, it's time to eat. Hey, right away. Shumyu turned off the computer and responded casually. Arriving at the dining table, Shumyu sat down naturally, and then looked at Sirona. Embarrassed, he was so busy watching Meteor Falls that he forgot about his engagement. Sirona was left out for a long time. Would she think she was angry? She was made angry by her father. Well, Koga Ninja, you go get food for Arceus. You can't count on me for everything every day. Charizard, what are you looking at? Go and help. Shumyu opened his mouth and pushed the 2 elves away before focusing on Sirona. Sirona is also very sensible. Lucario, go and prepare something for the round land shark to eat. Lucario looked confused. The Koga Ninja on the side saw that this guy was ignorant, so he went up and used a sword. Come here quickly. Lucario glanced at Shumyu aggrievedly. Still obediently followed the Koga Ninja. There was nothing he could do, he just couldn't beat him, so he gave in to his will. All the troublemakers were gone, and now only Shumyu and Sirona were left. Well, I didn't know about the engagement at first. Shumyu spoke first to break the silence. Sirona blushed. I don't know either. Okay, this kid is stupid, for real. Shumyu raised his head with a smile on his face. So we're destined, right? Following Shumyu's words, Sirona agreed. You don't hate me either, do you? No, Why would you hate it? Shumyu was very satisfied and continued. Okay, then our relationship is settled, and you will be my fiancé from now on, okay. Thinking of long nights and many dreams, Shumyu planned to settle the relationship quickly while Sirona was still naive. However, when Sirona heard this, she reacted instantly. But father said he would only agree if you defeated him. Shumyu was stunned for a moment, a little confused. Is this girl really stupid or pretending to be stupid? You usually look naive, how can you react now? Ahem, let's defeat him then, let's eat and eat. With a dry cough, Shumyu was really embarrassed when he was found out about abducting a young lady in front of her. Sirona didn't feel embarrassed. She looked at Shumyu with her unique blank look. After confirming that Shumyu was okay, she started to eat. When are we going to Meteor Falls? After filling his stomach, Shumyu took out a bucket of ice cream from the refrigerator and placed it in front of Sirona. Shumyu was a little confused because he didn't eat ice cream today. After opening the lid, Sirona remembered what happened to Meteor Falls and asked. Shumyu thought for a while and answered. Tomorrow, just in time to catch up with the secret realm opening. Sirona agreed. She had heard of Meteor Falls a long time ago, but she was too young to go up to it when it was opened last time. Good. After eating delicious ice cream, and Shumyu had already arranged the itinerary, he was not unhappy about Kyle's arrival. This makes Sirona feel great. Looking at the ice cream in front of her, Sirona had an intuition. I can make 2 buckets. I'm going to train with the round land shark later, will you come with me? Sirona then remembered that it seemed that since she met Shumyu, she had almost never seen the elves he trained. Even Arceus just mentioned a few words casually, as if it was a joke. How can you be so strong without training? That's impossible. My father said that strong people are made up of 1% talent and 99% sweat. No one can get something for nothing. However, training, forget it, I'm not interested. You stay with Yuanlu Shark, and take Arceus with you. I'll go back and catch up on some sleep first. Handing Arceus to Sirona, Shumyu strutted back to the room. Train? Are you kidding me? If I don't want to be a trainer, I will never be able to train in this life. Sirona's big eyes were full of doubts. Why is Shumyu so powerful? Could it be that he gave the elf drugs? Turning to look at the Koga Ninja Frog and Charizard who were cooking for Arceus, Sirona really didn't understand. The next day, Shumyu and Sirona, the second-generation super pair, naturally boarded a helicopter heading to the secret realm. At an altitude of 1,000 meters, Shumyu suddenly took Sirona and took many sets of photos. So lovely. While admiring the photo of himself and Sirona, Shumyu sent the photo to his mother. I've been doing pretty well lately. This is your future daughter-in-law. How is it? Shumyu, who had just woken up at this time, laughed out of surprise when she received the news from Shumyu. Looks great, Mom agreed to this marriage. The couple made a joke, but Shumyu didn't pay much attention. With all his talk, how could he have imagined that Mother Shu had good intentions for his son? Shumyu just felt that he hadn't contacted his mother for a long time, so it was just time to show her the beloved girl he had found. As a result, Shu's mother, who had just woken up, was no longer calm. After replying to Shu Emu's message, Shu's mother made a phone call and sent the photo. Soon, all the information about Sirona and Kyle's family will be sent to Shu's mother. Well, this is really good. It turned out to be the marriage contract made by the child's father, so I feel relieved. After arriving at Meteor Falls, Shumyu discovered that he was not the most naughty one. Taking a helicopter with a beautiful blonde girl is no longer comparable to those real bee kings. Mr. Shu, the man driving the tractor, is the young master of the Shi family. The Shi family is a large family that specializes in rock and ground systems. Uncle Tatu did not leave after being sent to the place this time, but stayed to introduce the true identities of these bee kings to Shumyu. Uncle Tatu still remembers what happened in Viridian's secret realm last time. Fortunately, Father Shumyu was present in person last time, otherwise the consequences would be disastrous. It was the same this time. Tatu was worried that something would happen, so he gave Shumuk a brief introduction to these guys in advance. And secretly prayed, hoping that no one would offend Shumyu. Where's the one who flies the flying saucer? Shumyu didn't know that Tatu thought so much, but he thought these second generations were really interesting, so he continued to ask. After Shumyu said this, Sirona also raised her head and looked at the flying saucer in the sky. Let me tell you something, this flying saucer is more powerful than a tractor. This is the young master of the Zhao family. Speaking of the Zhao family, that's a lot. Uncle Tatu looked like he was going to tell a story. And Shumyu saw that the young master of the Zhao family with a spiky head was actually followed by a small fire dragon. There was also a light mark on the small fire dragon's face. Shumyu instantly knew that this guy was the son of Mr. Zhao. It was the guy who bought the elf egg from him. I know, the son of the big boss Mr. Zhao. Upon hearing this, Uncle Tatu hurriedly said, Master, don't underestimate Mr. Zhao. On the surface he is a harmless businessman, but in fact he is a large chaebol who controls half of the Eastern Territory's economic lifeline. A person like this doesn't use strength to evaluate the degree of danger. Moreover, it is said that no one knows Mr. Zhao's true strength now. Seeing how serious he was, Shumyu unnaturally remembered what Mr. Zhao said back then, we will meet again. Such a big shot took great care of me at that time, which is not a good thing now that I think about it. Forget it, whether it's a big shot or not, it has nothing to do with me. Shumyu put Mr. Zhao's affairs aside for the moment, and then continued to watch. When he saw a man riding a kentaro, he became interested. Without him asking, Uncle Tatu said naturally, this is Yeluki from the Grassland Forces. He is also considered to be one of the more prestigious ones among this generation. Shumyu doesn't quite understand, what is grassland power? Is it the same as the one in the previous life? Nomadic people, the kind with no fixed abode. Or live in a yurt. The Grassland Forces are a force between the Eastern Territory and Western Europe. They are not independent from the Alliance. They still belong to the Eastern Territory in name, but they are not very willing to be restrained. Uncle Tatu explained diligently, there is no way, not even if he doesn't do his job. Now the saint is with Shumyu. If Shumyu is as reckless as before and offends a group of people again, then Kyle will definitely come and kill him. It's interesting this time. After Uncle Tatu introduced almost everything, Shumyu grinned. Previously, I played in the novice village and won a championship, and then I played in the advanced novice village and gave Sirona a championship. It's better now, but I still haven't escaped from the novice village, and a group of top novices are coming. If I brush them again, shouldn't I leave the village? Shu Emu's muttering made Sirona confused. What is brushing and what is leaving the village? Young master, if you want to compete with them for the mini dragon, please try not to be cruel. Seeing that Shu Emu's smile was a little sinister, Uncle Tatu felt that Shumyu might not understand his hint. He quickly opened his mouth to speak clearly. We are here to collect dragons, not to fight and bully others. Seeing Tatu's serious face, Shumyu reluctantly nodded in agreement. Uncle Tatu, do you think I am someone who likes to be cruel? This rhetorical question left Uncle Tatu speechless for a moment. Regardless of whether you are or not, your father is anyway. If you really make him anxious, even the chief will feel uncomfortable. It was Sirona who knew how to save the situation and said. Shumyu is not that kind of brainless fool, he is smart. Seeing Sirona praising Shumyu innocently, Uncle Tatu did not dare to refute. Yes, the saint is right. Following Sirona's rhythm and echoing, Uncle Tatu said quickly. Saint, Master Shu, the secret realm has been opened, let's go in first. Mini dragons are limited, first come first served. Although Shumyu is not very interested in mini dragons, Sirona is. Holding Shu Emu's hand, Sirona signaled Shumyu to quickly summon the fire-breathing dragon and enter the secret realm as soon as possible. Somewhat speechless, Shumyu calmly watched the Bee King boys swarming into the transmission channel at the beginning of the secret realm. He was not in a hurry, and planned to wait for everyone to enter before entering slowly. As a result, seeing how excited Sirona was, Shumyu was no longer disappointed. He called out the fire-breathing dragon, accelerated, and headed straight for the meteor falls. Hey, I'm going to conquer the mini dragon. I'm definitely the best. The moment the fire-breathing dragon entered the portal, a hoarse voice came from beside Shumyu. My uncle. Shumyu looked around with disdain and found that not far from him, a young man riding a kentaro was yelling excitedly. Seeing his unseen expression, Shumu smiled. Who gave you the courage to be so crazy? You are still young, who do you want to be? You are really out of the mountains, do you think you are the only rich person? The world outside is big, kid, listen to me, you can't control it, don't let it go. Shumu, the environment here is so nice. Just as she was trying to make this second generation understand what a real second generation was, Sirona suddenly opened her mouth and exclaimed. Shumu was too lazy to talk to that idiot anymore and began to observe the surrounding environment. The location where the two of them are now is in a slightly dark cave. Although no external light enters the cave, many fluorescent fine powders still achieve a basic lighting effect. It's just that the color of the light is different from normal, and it looks strangely beautiful. It can't be said to be strange. To be more precise, it is like the starlight of fireflies, extremely crystal clear. It's really good. Shumu followed Sirona's words. Not long after, the transmission channel was already filled with young, rich first, second generation trainers who came to take this adventure. Yo! With a soft groan, a huge dragon appeared in the sky. Hello, human trainers. Feeling the kindness released by Kuailong, no one was afraid or intimidated, and quietly waited for Kuailong's next words. And those trainers who had no idea about mini dragons did not leave immediately, wanting to see what Kuailong had to say. After all, if you miss this opportunity once every 10 years, you may never see a rare elf like Kuailong in person for the rest of your life. Yo! The task of this trial is very simple, that is, you need to find 3 such bells in Meteor Falls. The bell can be snatched. There are no specific rules for this trial. As long as you find me with the bell one day later, you will be eligible to go to my clan and conquer the descendants of my clan. Kuailong's cry was long, and after he announced the trial rules, he flew away directly. Some trainers who have prepared in advance have brought translation tools or telepathic elves. Afraid of getting the rules wrong. The same was true for Shumu. Because Arceus was there, he quickly understood the rules. Then he took Sirona's little hand and said nonchalantly, let's go. Sirona was a little confused. She saw Kuailong appear and then barked a few times. As a result, many people ran out like a 100-meter sprint. What's the situation? Kuailong has finished talking about the rules, didn't you hear? Seeing Sirona in a daze, Shumu couldn't help laughing. What rules? Sirona was confused. Many people present were as confused as Sirona. Kuailong has already announced the rules, otherwise, what do you think he was doing when he came out and screamed twice just now? Is it possible that you are just showing off your cuteness? Sirona was embarrassed by Shumu. He touched his hair, stuck out his tongue and said with a smile, I also want to say that Kuailong's voice is very nice. Shumu slapped his forehead, okay. You're stupid, I won't help you, even the 80-year-old grandma won't help me, so I'll just obey you. Holding Sirona's hand all the way deep into the cave, Shumu did not follow the direction of the sound of water like others. It seems we got separated from everyone, Sirona said casually when she saw that there were fewer and fewer trainers nearby. Shumu nodded. Yes, it would be boring to get together with them all. Saying that, Shumu pointed forward. You see, really smart people know to separate. This is not football. The more people, the better. This secret realm may not be big, but it's small, but it's really not small. The team of trainers, which consisted of nearly 1,000 people, gradually dispersed like they were walking through a maze after being separated by the meteor waterfall. If you don't mark it in advance, you will definitely get lost. Going in a direction where there is almost no sound of water does not mean that we are getting further away from the waterfall, but it does mean that we are heading deeper into the cave. The Kuailong clan is not an elf living in the water. They are all heading towards the waterfall, which is actually the opposite of their goal. Shuemu's idea is very simple, that is, avoid those idiots first. Then if you find a bell, give one to Sirona. Forget it if you don't find it. Anyway, when he came this time, he never thought that it would be possible to be quiet. As long as the dog system doesn't die, it will definitely arrange all kinds of accidents. Not to mention anything else, there is this big guy Lugia. The system has arranged the check-in tasks in advance, and it is absolutely impossible for Lugia to just come and leave as he pleases. Then wouldn't we be able to find the bell faster this way? Seeing Shu Emu's logical analysis, Sirona believed that the chance of completing this trial was very high. However, what Shu Mu just said was nonsense, commonly known as bullshit. He just wanted to leave the crowd quickly and find a quiet place to wait for Lugia to come looking for trouble. As for the bell, what are you looking for? Only a fool would look for it. We don't look for bells, let fools find them, Shu Mu said with a smile. Sirona didn't understand. We're not looking for it. Yes, only fools look for bells, Shu Mu said matter-of-factly. Think about it, will the bell ring? Since someone is looking for it, then after he finds the bell, he will definitely ring the bell unless he stays where he is. Wouldn't it be better if we snatched it from him then? That's right, Shu Emu's thoughts have changed since he heard this rule. Since Kuailong is allowed to snatch the bell, what's the point of going through all the effort to find the bell? Just grab it and it's over. Not to mention being immoral, Shu Mu would rob others if he didn't. Opportunity is something that only those who can get it get. But it's not good for us to steal other people's things. Sirona hesitated, but soon figured it out on her own. She is called a saint, but she is not a virgin. This kind of thing has been common in her childhood education. Those who are capable live there, which is Darwin's theory of biological evolution, and it is also an eternal truth on the road to becoming stronger. Okay, let them find it, I will take you to find an interesting guy now. Seeing that Sirona finally understood, Shu Mu held hands with a smile and walked deeper, without worrying that Lugia could not find him. He has eaten the dog system to death now. Now that the sign-in task is released, the dog system will let it complete it no matter what. I can't, it's all your own trouble. The system has fainted from crying in the toilet. When encountering such a host, he has already taken the blame and become autistic. Ha ha ha, I just said that if you go deeper, you will definitely gain something. Electric Dragon, use 100,000 volts. Not long after walking, Shu Mu and Sirona heard the sound of fighting coming from ahead. Because they were in a cave, sound would travel far. Shu Mu and Sirona looked at each other. At the same time, I decided to go and see the excitement. There are many types of elves in the caves of Meteor Falls. In addition to the common elves such as the Sand King, the Big Mouth Bat, and the Little Fist Stone, there are also many relatively rare elves. For example, Coco Dora, Bronze Mirror, Kathy, etc. Shu Mu also encountered a few elves on the road just now, but Shu Mu didn't bother to conquer them. Sirona simply didn't like it and let the elf pass them by. Following the direction of the sound, Shu Mu took Sirona through the twists and turns of the tunnel and saw an open space. In the open space, the person fighting was none other than the young man from the grassland before, Yeluki. He was commanding the electric dragon to attack an injured Menes frantically, seemingly preparing to subdue the opponent. Although his attributes were unfavorable, and the water type was restrained by the electric type, Menes still resisted desperately, obviously not wanting to leave here, nor did he want to be subdued by this country boy. Ah! Menes let out a long roar and sprayed out a dragon's wave, directly hitting the electric dragon's body. You still dare to resist? Electric dragon, let's fire another 100,000 volts. Yeluki, a young country boy, saw Menes resisting and immediately ordered the electric dragon to continue attacking. The electric dragon that had just been hit by the dragon wave was also angry. Seeing as how good-looking you are, I haven't been using my full strength, yet you still sneak up on me. What? Another 100,000 volts. Menes was in so much pain from the electric shock that he curled up and screamed on the ground. Hearing Menes' miserable wail, Sirona couldn't bear it and frowned slightly. They are all the strength of the false king, I should be able to deal with them. After calculating the strength gap, Sirona was about to take action. Shu Mu stopped her. Menes discovered it first. It's against the rules for us to do anything now. Shu Mu's words made Sirona a little confused. You were the one who wanted to grab something just after a disagreement. Now I want to grab it, and you are still stopping me. Could it be that Shu Mu became a monk? Do you pay attention to doing good deeds and accumulating virtue? Shu Mu smiled mysteriously and pointed at Menes. She looked like she was screaming, but she was actually calling for her companions. You can understand that this guy is looking for reinforcements. It turns out that was the case. Sirona felt relieved. Shu Mu was still the same Shu Mu, he had not changed. Why is there a wild menace with quasi-king strength here? Knowing that menace was fine for the time being, Sirona turned her attention to why she appeared here. Shu Mu thought for a while and decided to tell the truth, I'm not sure. I know, it must be like this. Shu Mugong wanted to be honest and not fool Sirona first, but this girl actually said that she knew. As you said, Kuailong doesn't live in the water, and Menace doesn't have to live in the water either. The place here is spacious. Most of the elves nearby are of the rock type and pose no threat to Menace. It is perfect to settle here. So, Shu Mu, you were right. Going deeper into the cave will indeed be rewarding. What Sirona thought about left Shu Mu speechless. After opening his mouth, Shu Mu decided to give up the explanation. Okay, that's good, that's what I think. Now you can finally think about things independently. That's great. Shu Mu said, and shamelessly touched Sirona's head with his hand. He still has the nerve to dislike other people's pretense, he is the biggest bee king. Yo, seeing that Menace was about to lose his strength, Yeluki was ready to throw the elf ball, but a dragon roar made him give up the idea temporarily. A dragon is coming quickly through the narrow tunnel. Some of the obstructing rock walls were directly smashed by Kuailong with his divine speed. Yo, who dares to bully my goddess, I will kill you. Kuailong came to the scene and immediately discovered the seriously injured Menace. Then, the dragon has reverse scales, which will kill you if you touch it. Kuailong directly activated the reverse scale and beat Yeluki's electric dragon violently. Electric dragon, mega evolution. Although the rustic boy is very rustic, he is still the second generation of the grassland. A simple mega evolution can still be done. Due to the emergency situation, Electric Dragon had no time to do special effects. Complete the transformation directly and fight with Kuailong again. Menace took the opportunity to use self-recovery to restore his physical strength. I just want to conquer Menace, how can you pretend to be a king-level fast dragon for me? Who can bear this? Dianlong, let's retreat. A hero won't suffer the immediate loss. Let's fight again when the dragon is gone. Yeluki understood quite well. Seeing Kuailong coming, he had no chance, so he simply prepared to retreat. Yeluki happened to catch a glimpse of Shu Mu and Sirona, who had been watching the excitement for a long time, and Yeluki rolled his eyes. Brothers over there, and Miss Sirona, do we want to cooperate? Sirona looked indifferent, but Shu Mu couldn't agree. It's like you are playing Honor of Kings with a girl, but in the middle of the game a passerby wants to come in and form a team together. Will that work? This girl belongs to me alone. No, if you can't do it, come down quickly. We've been waiting for a long time. Shu Mu opened his mouth and blocked Yeluki's retreat. If it doesn't work, come down quickly and stop talking about useless things. Been waiting here for a long time. Yeluki's already dark face suddenly turned even darker. Dianlong, let's go. Taking advantage of the chaos caused by Kuailong Nilan, Yeluki directly took back the electric dragon without saying a word, and then released it to him again. He signaled Shu Mu with his eyes, aren't you going to come? Go ahead. You're so small, with a girl, do you really think you're number one in the national server? That's a king-level Kuailong. I want to see how you take over. Who doesn't know how to brag and talk big? You can do it, or you can run away with me, ha ha ha. Yeluki said, posing as if he was about to run at any moment, and then stared at Shu Mu. As long as Shu Mu and Sirona are ready to run away, he will definitely run faster than them. Yeluki thought he had dug a big hole for Shu Mu and made him embarrassed in front of Sirona. As a result, Shu Mu and Sirona were looking at him like a fool. A king-level dragon still needs to run. Are you kidding me? Shu Mu curled his lips and glanced disdainfully at Yeluki, who was squatting on the ground, always ready to run away. Yeluki was not moved at all by Shu Mu's words. I thought to myself, you just want to trick me into letting my guard down, and then you guys will find an opportunity to escape first. Who hasn't heard the story of a tiger chasing a man? Now it's a competition of speed, whoever runs slower will be unlucky. Yeluki lived in his own world and naively believed that this dragon was invincible. I imagined that Shu Mu would take Sirona and escape in embarrassment. Therefore, he kept maintaining the starting position of the 100-meter sprint, staring at Shu Mu with burning eyes. Afraid of being jumped by Shu Mu. Forget it, let me do it. This guy's confusion should be resolved. Seeing Kuailong's eyes gradually clearing up, Shumyu rubbed his fingers and called out the Koga Ninja frog. The moment the Koga Ninja appeared, Yeluki yelled at the side. Now, Electric Dragon, let's run. After saying that, he followed the Electric Dragon and fled at a speed that even the Wind Speed Dog could not match with his speed skills. After running out of the open space, Yeluki stopped proudly. Let me tell you, he is definitely going to run away. What he said before was just to make me relax my guard. Baho! Dianlong believed in Yeluki unconditionally and shouted in agreement. So, fortunately, I guessed that guy's sinister thoughts a long time ago and ran out in advance. Otherwise, we would be the ones being entangled by the dragon now. Baho! The Electric Dragon still raised his hand in cooperation, looking at Yeluki with admiration in his eyes. Boom, pain, boom, poof. A series of fighting sounds sounded from behind, and Yeluki laughed even more proudly. Ha ha ha, that guy must be in a terrible state now. He wants to show off with Miss Sirona. How naive. Is there anyone else who wants to show off in front of me? Dream. The more Yeluki spoke, the more arrogant he became. He held the Electric Dragon with one hand to steady his body, and put his other hand on his waist and laughed wildly. It's as if he wasn't the one who just ran away in embarrassment. We'll wait here. There's only one way out. I want to see what this guy will do to Kuailong. The more he listened, the more excited he became, so Yeluki simply decided not to leave. Imagining Shumyu being beaten by Kuailong now, he felt relieved. If you refuse my invitation to cooperate, you fool, you are finished. In the open space, Koga Ninja and Kuailong were fighting fiercely. This Kuailong does have something special. As a wild elf, he actually knows how to restrain his attributes. Generally speaking, most wild elves understand this, and even if they don't understand, they still know the instinctive fear. But this guy is different. Kuailong actually knows the ability of Koga Ninja to change freely. After Koga Ninja made a move with the Spiral Water Shuriken, Kuailu immediately counterattacked with 100,000 volts and Thunder Fist. When Koga Ninja used the Freezing Beam, Kuailong responded with a big character explosion. If it happens once or twice, it may be accidental. But several times in a row, Shumyu also discovered clues. This Kuailong definitely knows the characteristics of the Koga Ninja frog, and then attacks in a targeted manner. Changing freely allows the elf to change into the attributes of the skill it just used. The official explanation is that every time you use a move, your attributes become the same as the attributes of the move. Looking at it this way, every attack of this fast dragon is definitely chosen based on the attributes of the Koga Ninja frog. Such a fast dragon is so interesting. Koga Ninja, have a hard time with him. It's boring to keep fighting like this. People have already guessed your characteristics. Shumyu shouted, letting the Koga Ninja directly bind and transform. After the bond transformation, Koga Ninja's combat effectiveness soared directly. Even if this Kuailong has the wisdom of a demon, he can't compete head-on with the Koga Ninja. He was quickly defeated by the Koga Ninja and fell to the ground. Ah! Menace on the side had fully recovered her strength. She glanced at Kuailong who fell on the ground, and there was a trace of hesitation in her eyes. However, the hesitation was soon replaced by determination. She slowly crawled to Sirona's side and passed Kuailong. Aha! You are so beautiful, I like you so much. Menace expressed his affection for Sirona without any scruples. Everyone was stunned at this moment. What's the situation? Koga Ninja, this Menace is female, right? Cool. I'm sure she is. Shumyu scratched his head and suddenly looked at Kuailong sympathetically. Do you know, the Menace you are pursuing may be a... How are you? Walking to Kuailong's side, Shumyu asked distressed-edly. Roar. Kuailong was silent. He was dumbfounded by Menace's operation. Do you like me very much? Simple Sirona is still simple. She looked at Menace blankly and asked in confusion. She still doesn't know that Menace's kind of love is that kind of indescribable love. I like the same style as Shumyu. Aha! Seeing that Sirona understood what she meant, Menace immediately circled around Sirona happily. I really like this blonde-haired girl. Is this what it feels like to meet true love? I feel so happy. Kuailong was about to get up from the ground, but when he heard Menace's words, he fell to his knees again with a plop. Will licking dogs be allowed to live in this world? When have I, the young patriarch of the Kuailong family, ever been wronged like this? Ah, snowflakes are fluttering, the north wind is blowing. A cut of winter plum, standing proudly in the snow. Heaven and earth, a little bit, vast. The familiar BGM sounded, and Shumyu suddenly felt that this dragon was not so worthy of pity. You deserve to die if you lick the dog. You deserve to be played with your emotions, who calls you a licking dog? Kailong, tell me, why do you know the characteristics of the Koga Ninja frog? Seeing that Sorona is communicating with Menes about her feelings, the next step should be the familiar subduing process. Shumyu decided to give Kuailong, an old licker, a chance. If this guy really had special talents that could arouse Shuemyu's interest in conquering him, then he wouldn't mind conquering this guy. However, there is a premise. That means Kuailong cannot be bellicose. A Koga ninja who is full of fighting spirit, a Charizard who goes to the limit and strives to become stronger, and Arceus who doesn't understand anything and just wants to fight. Shumyu feels that his elf team has become more and more trainer-like. He wanted to stop this trend of trainers from spreading in the team. Therefore, Shuemyu's criteria for selecting the next elf were that being belligerent would definitely not work. Ho, ho ho, thinking that Shumyu and Sorona are together, if she leaves with Shumyu, it means that she can still see the goddess. Kuailong suddenly became energetic and had enough desire to express himself. I know this from reading books. They are all books sent by your human race before. Shumyu was stunned. Reading. This hobby is great. So do you like fighting? Seeing Shumyu suddenly ask this question, Kuailong showed some hesitation. He shook his head with a sense of inferiority, saying that he rarely fought. Ho ho ho. Okay. Kuailong didn't expect that Shumyu would react so loudly when he said he didn't like fighting. With a look that was indeed the case, Kuailong turned around in embarrassment, preparing to leave this sad place. Roar. No, what he just said was, okay. Did I hear that right? Kuailong suddenly turned around and looked at Shumyu, wanting to confirm whether his ears were correct. Shumyu quickly said, you heard it right. I said yes, it's best if you don't like fighting. Saying that, Shumyu took out the elf ball directly. How about it, scholar, hang out with me and I'll take you out to play with your mobile phone. There's a lot more knowledge here than in books. When he heard that there was more knowledge, Kuailong suddenly became excited. Grabbing the elf ball, Kuailong shouted urgently, woo! Quick, stop talking nonsense and conquer me quickly. There is no way, since you took the initiative to request, then I will not be polite. Shumyu secretly thought, the switch of the elf ball was turned on, and the dragon instantly turned into a red light and entered the elf ball. After shaking for a while, the red light went out. Kuailong conquered successfully. On the other side, Menes was more proactive than Kuailong. He just tailed a little and got into the elf ball by himself. Then when Sorona released her again, she immediately coiled around Sorona and started to get tired of it. Shumyu admitted that he was a little sore at that moment. Don't worry, Kuailong, I will train you from a licking dog to a handsome man. Menes is a rotten girl, I will definitely let you straighten her. Shumyu quietly promised the Kuailong pokeball, suppressing the anger in his heart. It's just an elf, and she's a female. Why should I be jealous of her? Cut. Yeluki waited for a long time outside. Until the sound of fighting ended, Shumyu and Sorona were not seen. I immediately became curious. Dianlong, do you think the two of them won't be eaten by the angry Kuailong? Bah ho. Maybe. Dianlong always agrees with Yeluchi, a country boy. Then I have done something wrong. I was the one who caused this dragon. If I cheat Miss Sorona, it will be terrible. Thinking of this, Yeluki looked a little nervous. Who is Sorona? If something happens because of him causing trouble, then the grassland power may cease to exist. Let's go, Electric Dragon, let's go take a look, be careful. Gritting his teeth, Yeluki decided to go and see for himself. Apart from anything else, if there is a chance to rescue Miss Sorona, then I will have made a great contribution. Seeing the silence in the clearing, Yeluki still felt a little afraid. But thinking of the pretentious Shumyu and the beautiful Miss Sorona, Yeluki suppressed the fear in his heart and slowly approached with the electric dragon. Hey, are you okay? Yeluki saw that Shumyu and Sorona were both there, and Sorona actually had the menace he wanted to conquer with her. I didn't understand the situation immediately. We're fine. Why are you back? Shu Mu is a typical murderer. This country boy ran so fast before, but now he dared to look back when there was no movement. What do you mean? Are you here to collect the bodies of yourself and Sirona? I'm worried that you are in danger. When I came to save you, I also wanted to seek revenge from Kuailong. The electric dragon was also hungry just now, so he didn't fight that Kuailong. I just had a feast with the electric dragon, and now I want to find this fast dragon. Let him come out and I will definitely take good care of him. Seeing that Menas might have been subdued by Sirona, Yeluki looked around again and found that he didn't see Kuailong. Immediately started the show-off mode. Sirona, who had always been cute, couldn't help but laugh when she heard Yeluki's words. Shu Mu is indeed an experienced driver. Driving is absolutely stable. Seeing that Yeluki was starting to show off, he did not directly show his trump card, but chose to continue asking. Let Yeluki continue to play. Aren't you afraid of that dragon? Shu Mu asked. Seeing Shu Mu asking this, Yeluki's old face turned red. But he regained his energy after a while. Kuailong, I told you, that is a small stumbling block in the growth of our home appliance dragon. Last time, he was lucky enough to use his reverse scale and took advantage of it. We won't be careless this time. Even if Kuailong runs fast, otherwise I will definitely kill him this time. As he spoke, Yeluki put on a very coquettish look. Shu Muchen smiled. This kid is too cute. It's a bit ridiculous. Are you sure? Kuailong is really too strong. You can't do it. I, who should cooperate with your performance, turned a blind eye. Shu Mu continued to hold back his smile, looked at Yeluki and said, You brag about yours, I'll dig mine. Why can't I do it? Yeluki said forcefully, as if he didn't take anyone seriously. Seeing him like this, Shu Mu knew the heat was coming. Well, since you insist so much, I'll satisfy you. After saying that, Shu Mu opened Kuailong's elf ball directly. In an instant, Yeluki was dumbfounded. Quick dragon. He was conquered by you. What? Why didn't you tell me earlier? Yeluki gritted his teeth and looked at Shu Mu blankly. Dianlong was equally shocked. He looked at Yeluki and then at Kuailong. Yeluki directly pressed the Pokeball, and he obeyed. Ha 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 ha. Seeing that the electric dragon ran back by himself and left Yeluki alone in the cold wind, Shu Mu finally couldn't help it anymore. What a country boy. You are really my pistachio. Shu Mu laughed wildly, and the mood that had just been upset by Menas was gone. Kailong, he wants to fight with you, you play with him. Joking casually, Shu Mu thought that the war-weary Kuailong would just laugh and let it go. Unexpectedly, Kuailong actually took action. Yo ho. You are the one who offended my goddess, right? I let you run away just now. This time I will take care of you and avenge the goddess. Kuailong can do this, he is so angry. Just like the Hulk's transformation, the usual gentleness and elegance disappeared in an instant. All that's left is violence. The dragon has reverse scales, if you touch it you will die. Dragon's Wrath. With a breath of Dragon's Wrath, Kuailong directly attacked Yeluki. Fortunately, Yeluki had quick eyesight and quick hands. He called Kentaro to use protection at the critical moment and withstood Kuailong's blow. Come on, the electric dragon will come out and escort you. Yeluki was dumbfounded. Shu Mu is sick, right? You just subdued Kuailong, but you actually let Kuailong attack me. However, Shu Mu was helpless at this time. He understood why he could conquer this fast dragon. Have you ever seen an elf modeled after the Hulk? Normally he is gentle, reading and studying, but when he gets angry, he will kill everyone. Ah, electric dragon, help me quickly. After all, Shu Mu was too kind, and he didn't let Kuailong kill him directly. This kid is quite interesting, just give it a try. Asking Kuailong to throw him aside, Shu Mu took Sirona's little hand and left arrogantly. The miserable country boy was left standing there stunned. He was really sour. What kind of world is this? I don't know if people who are better than you can work as hard as you. But people who are better than you live a more comfortable life than you, that's for sure. Looking at Shu Mu with the beauty in his arms and the dragon in his hand, Yeluki wanted to cry but had no tears. It's too much. This kind of person is too much. Getting up in embarrassment, Yeluki loudly accused Shu Mu. The electric dragon beside him, which was beaten all over, was also bleeding non-stop. That person is the devil. What did the electric dragon do? The electric dragon is obviously so cute, but he can still kill it. Woo 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 woo. He's just a fool. This guy doesn't deserve to live. He's gone too far. One of them sat on the ground and cursed Shumyu, but they didn't know that a shadow was behind them, watching all this silently. Then, a spiral water shuriken was fired. One person and one pet were smashed directly to the ground. Cool, little master, it's solved. Shumyu was depressed. He thought he had conquered a nerdy elf, but he didn't expect that the dragon was a Hulk. This temperament is exactly the same as that of the Hulk. That's too much. Didn't you say you don't like fighting? Why do I feel that when you fight, you are more excited than the Koga Ninja? Shaking his head and putting down the matter of Kuailong in frustration, Shumyu said disdainfully. Is this guy scolding me behind my back? Cool. Yes, I have already taught him a lesson. Koga Ninja raised his hand proudly, indicating that he used this hand to deal with the guy who spoke ill of the little master behind his back. Shumyu also smiled proudly. I knew it, This guy is just dishonest. That is, he is willing to teach him how to behave for his parents only after meeting a selfless and great person like me. If it had been anyone else, I'm afraid he would have died long ago without knowing how. Cool, the little master is so kind. Silently watching the interaction between Shumyu and Koga Ninja, a glint flashed in Kuailong's eyes. Looks like I'm with a nice guy. To say such shameless words right out of the gate is really like a scholar like me. Roar, do you want me to go take a look again? I feel like he may not have learned his lesson yet. Kuailong's suggestion stunned Shumyu and Koga Ninja. Koga Ninja couldn't help but extend his thumb. Bull. When it comes to being cruel or damaging, you are still the scholars. Shumyu patted himself in annoyance. Yes, why didn't I think of that? Okay, go back quickly. Don't beat him to death. Just teach him a lesson. Shumyu gave serious instructions. Roar, understood, as long as I don't kill you, that's fine. Got it. With a flap of wings, Kuailong returns the same way. A minute later, another wailing sound came from the distance, and Kuailong proudly flapped his wings and returned to the team. Shumyu conquered Kuailong, and Sirona also conquered Menes, who had serious psychological problems. This trip for the two of them was a fruitful one. Are we still going to fight with them for the bell? Sirona asked Shumyu. Shumyu thought about it and realized that it was indeed unnecessary. We already have fast dragons, so forget about the mini dragons. No need, leave the opportunity to those who need it. Shumyu, a good man, decided to give up the fight. He wanted to visit the waterfall in the next time. After all, it is the secret place of Meteor Falls. It would be a pity not to go to the waterside and just hang out in the cave. Sirona agreed. She also wanted to see what the long-famous Meteor Falls looked like. With the locals Kuailong and Menes, they no longer had to wander around in the maze-like caves, but went straight to the official passage to Meteor Falls. Wah wah wah. There was a huge sound of water, and the crystal blue water was like a star river in the sky, flowing down from a high place and falling on the lake below. Kailong, are there any particularly powerful guys here? Shumyu, who was obsessed with Lugia, opened his mouth to ask Kuailong. According to the temper of the dog system, Lugia has not come to him yet. Unreasonable. Absolutely unreasonable. Oh, after hearing this, Kuailong tilted his head and thought for a while. My father should be the strongest. He is the leader of our Kuailong clan and the lord here. Kuailong's words stunned Shumyu. Good guy, I thought you were just an ordinary dragon, but I didn't expect you also have an identity. Am I the only player who truly closes my eyes when it comes to emotions? Are you also a second generation? Why didn't you tell me before? With strong resentment, Shumyu asked. Kuailong suddenly shivered and scratched his head in embarrassment. Roar, you didn't ask me before. Forget it, if I don't know you the same way, who makes me the second generation? Shumyu turned his head with a Versailles look on his face and stopped talking to Kuailong. Since he doesn't know the news about Lugia, just wait. Anyway, according to the urinary properties of the dog system, if Lugia didn't take the initiative to show up, Shumyu could drink all the water in this waterfall. I'm a little hungry, let's fish here. How about I cook you grilled fish? Shumu thought that it had been several hours since he and Sirona entered the secret realm. When he saw the lake in front of him, he suddenly became very interested in fishing and was ready to show off his skills. There are not only elves in the secret realm. Many wild animals also live in the secret realm, and they are also the food for some carnivorous elves. Grilled fish. Sirona said yes. Shumu didn't waste any time and took out 2 booms from his large backpack. This boom has a lot of history. It is said that it was a gift specially given to Kyle by the patriarch of some family. According to the words in the game, this should be at the level of a legendary boom. Come on, let me show you my skills. Shumu skillfully prepared the bait and took out 2 small folding chairs. Start fishing. Ah, Shumu, I caught a fish. Well, this is the hole made by the bait I just dropped. Pull it up slowly. There are many fish around here. Another one. Well, this must be a big fish. Let me help you. I'm hooked again. Shumu, please help me pull it, it's so strong. Okay. I am coming. Finally, Shumu broke a fishing rod in his hand with a smile on his face. MMP, what the hell is fishing? If I go fishing again, I will crush my head and play it as a ball. Happy, Shumu threw the broken boom into the water, and then. Roar, who is littering? Shumu watched the lake water continue to roll, and finally a big bird with white wings appeared on the water, staring at him angrily. He was completely stunned. I just threw a fishing rod, can I still disturb you? Shumu, who was tortured by fishing until his heart collapsed, immediately closed himself off at this moment. What the hell? Lugia just came to your door. I got the wrong script. Why don't you arrange a river god for me and ask me whether it's a gold or silver fishing rod? Humans, littering will be punished. The sea has been polluted and turbid, and now you don't even want to let go of the tranquility here. I want you to learn a lesson. Lugia used telepathy to talk directly to Shumu. This should be the basic skill that even mythical beasts master. I have never polluted the sea. I have never even been to the beach. Shumu wanted to defend himself, but he didn't know how. Finally, just change your mind and go play with the eggs. This is definitely the fault of the dog system. Since you are not a human being, then I won't be polite either. Aren't you Lugia? Isn't it the supreme being? Come and fight. I don't believe you can beat me to death today. If Lugia is destroyed by me today, you won't be able to escape from the dog system, you will all die. Charizard, you're welcome, come on. Calling out the fire-breathing dragon, Shumu roared. Just do it, don't you have a check-in task? Okay, I'll help you, I'm going to see how strong this supreme being can be. Roar, brother, you want me to fight him? After taking a look at Lugia on the water, Charizard was stunned. What the hell, this is the only thing. I'm just a cute fire-breathing dragon, why do I have to fight? Shu Emu's face turned dark instantly. Are you scared? Okay, I can't do anything I usually do, but I'll be the first in cooking. During the rape, you rushed to the front, but now you don't dare to move when you see Lugia. I really spent my life raising you in vain. After being scolded by Shumu, Charizard still stood there like a pillar. Ho ho ho, boss, I really can't do it. You let the frog go. If he is willing to fight, let him go. I'm too weak. If I fight a mythical beast, he can spray me to death with just one sip of water. I still want to live. I'm not married yet, boss. Shouting and shouting, Charizard suddenly burst into tears and performed. When he was aggressive before, it was only when his opponents were not as strong as him, or when they had to fight tooth and nail. Now, it is obvious that Lugia is popular. Charizard is so cautious, so he naturally understands that a gentleman should not stand under a dangerous wall. I won't fight in this fight. Whoever wants to fight will fight. Anyway, I haven't lived enough. With his head shaking, Charizard made up his mind to train harder this time when he went back. The outside world is too scary. How long has it been since there were 2 mythical beasts? Who can bear this? It is said that the outside world is very weak, but the King of Heaven and the false King of Heaven can be invincible. I was deceived. If I had known earlier, I would have cultivated to the supreme level and then left the mountain. Charizard, you really don't want to fight. Shumu was also amused by the fire-breathing dragon. This guy actually squeezed out tears. There is really no one who can achieve this kind of virtue. Roar, I really don't want to fight. Shu Mu spread his hands, there was nothing he could do. You've also seen the dog system. It's not that I'm not cooperating, look at it. I even called Charizard out. He didn't complete the task on his own. Isn't it my fault? Just as Shu Mu finished speaking in his mind, Lugia suddenly became impatient and sprayed out a water cannon, hitting Charizard's old face in the middle. I am stupid. At this moment, Shu Mu seemed to hear the system saying to himself, I'm here, don't be afraid. Roar! Charizard was hit from the front and screamed, falling to the ground. Well, judging from his exaggerated acting skills, everyone knows that this guy is just pretending. Lugia didn't use all his strength, he just sprayed some water. Ho ho ho, good brother, help me. Closing his eyes hard, Charizard screamed and kept moving his big hands, signaling the Koga Ninja frog to help quickly. Sirona and Shu Mu were both amused by this guy's doggy look. Good guy, I didn't realize that you were still an actor, Charizard. Ding! Congratulations to the host for completing the Charizard sign-in mission. Bring or use Charizard to fight Lugia in the secret realm of Meteor Falls, reward Kunpeng bloodline. There may be some discomfort during the blood fusion process. Please pay attention to the host's adjustment. Ding! The system has successfully injected the Kunpeng bloodline into the fire-breathing dragon, and the Zulong bloodline is merging with the Kunpeng bloodline. Ding! Charizard's fire dragon god talent has awakened. A series of system prompts confused Shu Mu. He looked at the Charizard on the ground in confusion. This guy was pretending to be dead. As a result, he suddenly jumped up from the ground, opened his mouth and sprayed a stream of flames towards Lugia. Secretly giving a thumbs up to the system, Shu Mu was convinced, awesome, awesome. Just reminded me that blood fusion may cause discomfort, and then you fused it. Dog system, you really deserve it. Get up, you really have no one. Seeing that Charizard suddenly became more motivated to fight, he completed his Mega Evolution after a disagreement, and flew in the air to fight Lugia. Shu Mu was convinced from the bottom of his heart. Shu Mu, what's going on? Why did Lugia suddenly attack us? Sirona didn't know the reason, but saw Lugia suddenly appear on the lake, and then gave Charizard a mouthful of saliva. Charizard then fought with Lugia. Sirona expressed confusion. The mythical beast is not said to be rare, but a legendary elf. Wouldn't it show up once in a few decades? How do you feel that this Lugia is like a Gyarados on the roadside, coming just as soon as you say it? Shu Mu's old face turned red. How could he say that Lugia came out because he threw garbage? Ahem, this guy came out to attack us on purpose, maybe because we were fishing in his territory. Sure enough, Shu Mu's explanation was very reasonable. Sirona believed it. That's too much. When we eat fish, we are not eating his own fish. Did he raise it? The little girl pouted her mouth and shouted angrily. Come on Charizard, if you win, I'll grill all the fish in the lake for you so you can eat all you want. Her voice immediately made Lugia go berserk. Even if you throw away garbage, you still want to destroy the ecological balance of my place. Human beings are indeed very bad. Looking at Charizard X again, the anger in Lugia's eyes became even stronger. I will teach you a lesson today, you fools. After cursing loudly, Lugia fired his ultimate move, Air Blast. Charizard is also in a violent state due to the fusion of blood. Even when facing the extremely terrifying Lugia, he is not panicking at all now. Dragon Wave. Big white bird, I want to roast it for you. You are the big white bird, I'm going to kill you. Lugia are kind-hearted elves, and they will take the initiative to rescue humans when they encounter them. Once upon a time, this Lugia was so kind. It wasn't until today that he completely believed what his elders told him. Humans are all fools. Shu Mu watched the fire-breathing dragon getting more and more aggressive as it was being tortured by Lugia in the air, rushing up again and again without mercy. I'm still a little worried. After all, it is his own elf. Now that he dares to challenge a divine beast, he is very likely to be a powerful person above the supreme. Even if the fire-breathing dragon has a few lives, it doesn't seem like it's enough to die. The dog system is almost done. If something happens to Charizard, you will feel more uncomfortable than me. Hey, I'm talking to you, can you answer me? Dog system, are you still alive? He kept calling the system in his heart, but there was no response. All Shu Emu's curses seemed to be lost in the ocean. You, Lugia, oh my god, I saw a mythical beast. There are actually mythical beasts in Meteor Falls. Oh my god, I'm in hell. Come on, let's go to the lake and see what the mythical beast looks like up close. Taking 2 photos will last a lifetime. Whose is that fire-breathing dragon? It's so strong, holy shit. Battle against the legendary elf alone, this guy is amazing. Naturally, Shumu and Sirona were not the only ones in Meteor Falls. Soon, the news of Lugia's appearance spread from one person to another. Within 10 minutes, the lakeside was filled with people watching the fun. And these 10 minutes seemed to be very short. In fact, for Charizard, it is like a century. Don't ask how a king-level fire-breathing dragon survived Lugia's attack for 10 minutes. Add a premise, Lugia is very angry and has no mercy. It may be that the newly fused blood of the fire dragon god gives the fire-breathing dragon inexhaustible power. It could also be something else, the dog system is playing tricks. In short, Charizard held on for 10 minutes and did not fall down in 3 minutes. Hey, Lugia, what do you want? Seeing the black flames on the fire-breathing dragon becoming less and less, Shumu also knew that this guy had reached his limit. He quickly shouted and wanted to negotiate with Lugia. His shout instantly caused the ignorant teenagers around him who were still speculating on the situation to riot. Holy shit, is this guy's elf fighting against Lugia? Who is he? Why haven't I heard of this person before? What do you know? Look at him holding Miss Sirona's hand. His status is naturally extremely noble. It is normal to have such strength. Oh, I don't care if he is strong. As long as he holds Miss Sirona's hand, he is not a human being. I can't bear it anymore. I want to kill him. How dare he touch my goddess? Don't leave that brother just now. Take me with you. I will do justice for God. That's right, a kind-hearted elf like Lugia would fight with him. This guy is definitely not a good person. A group of people were talking in gibberish. Apparently, jealousy had made them lose their minds. Seeing that Shumu is powerful, young, and has beautiful women. These second generation, or geniuses, are naturally dissatisfied and dissatisfied. Everyone was clamoring, actually wanting to touch Shumu. Lugia in the sky was too lazy to listen to the cries of the humans below. When he saw Shumu actually asking him what he wanted, he was furious. Do you think I will be afraid of you if you recruit a bunch of soldiers and generals? It doesn't matter how many humans you have, how can a group of weaklings stop me? Lugia said angrily, and directly released the wave of water downwards, hitting the crowd. Shumu was shocked by Lugia. Good guy, if I say these fools watching the theater are not my people, will you let them go? You kill, there are tens of thousands of my fellow human beings, you can't kill them all. Shumu quickly realized that Lugia had definitely made a mistake and thought these people were the helpers he called. Very good, Shumu heard them clearly when they shouted just now. Since Lugia misunderstood, let's keep misunderstanding. If you have the ability, continue, and I will let you know the price of offending my human race. Lugia, you loser, you have already killed my human genius, now go back and wait for death. Shumu kept shouting, and Lugia's wave of water just now emptied a small area by the lake. The ignorant young people there have gone to see God. Lugia still refused to give up when he saw Shumu, this time he was serious about it. Just abandon the fire-breathing dragon and use an air blast to sweep across the entire lake. He wants Shumu to shut up forever. As for killing humans, haha, killing one is killing two is the same. Now that he has already taken action, how can Lugia care so much? Today I will repeat what I was like to the Phoenix King back then. I will let you despicable humans learn a lesson. With a roar, Lugia's wings swept through countless wind blades and struck downwards from the air. For a time, everyone on the ground was in danger. They released their own elves one after another to protect themselves. Shumu also hugged Sirona and asked Koga Ninja and Kuailong to use protection at the same time. Roar, your opponent is me. The fire-breathing dragon was already dizzy from being beaten, and was fighting completely on instinct at this moment. When he saw Lugia actually abandoning him and attacking Shumu, he subconsciously roared. Ouch, I'll let you know what charcoal roasted birds are. With a mouthful of purgatory, Charizard spit out all the last fire energy in his body. The dark brown lava sprayed onto Lugia's back like a death-rushing god. Lugia screamed in pain and plunged into the water, using the lake water to clean the lava on his back. When he emerged from the lake again, his anger had completely enveloped him. With a loud roar, Lugia ran away. However, the surrounding crowd did not feel scared, but burst into laughter. Why is there no hair on Lugia's head? Holy shit, ha 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 ha, bald bird, bald Lugia. Ha 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 ha, I kept this photo. Even if I die here today, I will keep the photo as a family heirloom. Oh my god, why does this Lugia look so much like Vulturena now? Charizard is awesome. Ha ha ha, kill me, a human, and you won't die a good death. Feeling the ridicule of humans, Lugia subconsciously looked at the lake, and then screamed. Ah, my feathers, Charizard, I'm going to kill you. Everyone must die. Ah ah ah, go to hell. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.